in a highly competitive AL East. The Twins are hoping to close out the month of April with a win and then put this tough month of April behind them. Tonight, it's the Twins and the Blue Jays opening up a 3-game series at Target Field on a gorgeous evening in Minneapolis. And good evening, everyone. I'm Marnie Gellner. Brian Dozier was talking earlier today in the clubhouse about the Twins' struggles, saying that this is the time when you really dig in. This is the time when you stand tall as a player. And as Dozier said, we still believe that we are a good baseball team, and we have not lost sight of that. Here is your series setup for these three. The Twins have gotten a couple of hitters on track, headed in the right direction. Logan Morrison and Eddie Rosario both had productive weekends and could spark a turnaround here for the Twins. Eduardo Escobar has had a solid couple of weeks at the plate, and he's had an extra base hit in each of the last 6 games. Twins pitchers will try to keep Toronto hitters in the ballpark. The Jays have hit 46 homers here in 28 games, but the good news is a lot of those big boppers responsible for that damage are not in the lineup for Toronto. Lance Lynn will get the ball tonight. And coming up next, Dick Bramer and Roy Smalley on Lynn's quest for control.
Hoping to get from him starting tonight.
So important for any pitcher to have fastball command. For a fastball pitcher like Lance Lynn, he's got to have it, and it just hasn't been there yet. Although he did in his last start show some signs of really finding that command. He wants to throw that little breaking ball on the outside, but to do that, he's got to pound right-handers in and then go back to it. He did it for about 2 innings very, very well until Didi Gregorius got one in the middle of the plate and hit a Yankee Stadium home run. It looked like at that point, Lance Lynn just lost focus. It's like, how in the world could that be a home run? Started nibbling again, never did recover. But I think that 2-inning stretch of really good command is going to carry over tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, the Blue Jays have typically brought a power-laden lineup here to Target Field. A couple years ago, Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion. None of those 3 guys are in the lineup right now for one reason or the other, yet they are still hitting a lot of home runs.
They still have some guys that can swing the bat. Pilar in center field has become an outstanding player. Justin Smoke can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Curtis Granderson, still at his advanced age, a dangerous hitter up there at the plate. They've got some guys who can throw some offense at you, and Lance Lynn is going to have his fastball command.
Across the board, the Twins need to play better. They need better pitching. They also need the lineup to start clicking. We'll see if that happens here tonight.
It's awesome.
I love to play in Target Field.
Love Target Field.
It feels like one of the healthiest stadiums in baseball.
It's a beautiful place.
Fans are great. Even though, you know, it's so cold and earlier in the year, they still come out.
Especially in the summers. Once that cold spell's over to start the year, it's a beautiful place to be.
And it sure is beautiful here tonight. We've got temperatures in the 70s. And for the first time, well, look at the umpires. The umpires are there wearing short sleeve shirts, for heaven's sakes, instead of those big heavy jackets. Lance Lynn hopes to give the Twins his best start of the season here tonight. And Lynn, of course, in his first year with the Twins. John Gibbons has his team off to a good start, although hadn't been the best of weeks for the Blue Jays, as they are now 3 games above the 500 mark. The Menards batting order for the Blue Jays in the opener. Veteran Curtis Granderson leading things off. Teoscar Hernandez, Justin Smoke, and Hervis Solarte, Kevin Pilar, Russell Martin, Kendrys Morales, Lourdes Gurriel, and Aledmys Diaz.
And Lance Lynn on the mound for the Twins, as we said in the open, trying to find that consistent fastball command. Striking out 10 guys per 9 innings. He's got good stuff, but he's also walking over 8 guys per 9. That will not get it done, and he's going to try to find that consistency that made him a good pitcher in St. Louis.
In his 4 prior starts, 6 walks, 4 walks, 5 walks, 3 walks. He'll have this defense behind him. Brought to you by Northland Ford. Eddie Rosario in left, Max Kempler in center, Robbie Grossman in right. And an infield of Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, Bauer, and Garver. No Buxton or Sano. We'll update you on their status a little later on. And Escobar expected to be the shortstop when Jorge Polanco was put on the suspension list, and now he finds himself playing on a regular basis at third base, where he did such a good job last year in the last month and a half.
What's new for Esky, right? Just put me in, coach. I'm ready to play wherever you say.
Well, Lance Lynn has once gone 6 innings for the Twins. That was in St. Petersburg, but in that start, walked 5, gave up 5 earned runs. The best start he has had was here against Houston. 5 innings, and in that start he walked 4. So we'll see whether Lynn, as he gets more time on the mound, and remembering that he showed up in the middle of March after signing with the Twins, and he can tell you that he worked out, was in shape and all that, but it's not the same as getting game experience.
It absolutely is not the same. And spring training is for the pitchers for the most part anyway. Guys are ready to play in about 2 weeks, and for pitchers not to have much spring training, it's going to take those kind of guys a while.
One of my favorite people in baseball, Curtis Granderson, leading things off for the Blue Jays. Up and away, ball 1. He's bounced around a little bit. Twins saw a lot of him when he was with Detroit. Then they saw too much of him when he was with the Yankees. Then he disappeared in the National League for a while. Now he's back in the American League. He didn't disappear. There's a strike 1-1. But
disappeared from our regular viewing. Yeah.
Exactly. And he's just a good guy.
Yes, he is.
And he's put up good numbers in his first year with Toronto. 1-1 from Lynn. Got the corner, 1-2.
That's going to be so important for Lance Lynn right there. The fastball in on the corner. Convince hitters that they are going to get the ball in there, and then it opens up the outer part of the plate. It opens up the breaking ball. Everything works off the being able to spot the fastball.
Got him.
Yeah.
Came inside and got strike 3 on the corner. 1 down, and that'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez.
Well, Curtis didn't like this pitch. He thought it was either high and or inside. You see it's borderline on our little rectangle of the strike zone right there. One of the things I've noticed is that umpires don't normally call those pitches up there. So if it's a strike, it's a strike, and hitters aren't used to seeing that call. That's why Granderson was upset.
Tapper to third. Escobar waits for the second hop, and he fires to Mauer. 2 quick outs. But an umpire should call a rectangular strike zone, right?
Absolutely.
Not an oval.
Absolutely.
2 down, and now Justin Smoke. Adam Hamry is the home plate umpire. Adrian Johnson, Dan Bellino, and Phil Cuzzi on the bases.
You want to speed up the ball game, Dick?
Yes.
Have umpires call the full strike zone consistently.
From innings 1 through 9, we might add, right? All the way through the game.
And in every stadium the same way.
All right, let's forget about the last road trip, shall we? 1-0 to Justin Smoke. And down and away, 2-0.
Interesting challenge, dichotomy in the game. The good hitters get up there. You're afraid that you're going to give him too fat a pitch to hit, and then you nibble around and go 2-0, and now you got to throw him a fat one, and the hitter's in a more aggressive mode. I say find out early whether the guy can hit your stuff. Throw it over early.
Twins shifting Smoke. He hits it right to Dozier, and a nice tidy 1-2-3 first for Lance Lynn. the Toronto games played here, by the time the Twins hit in the bottom of the first inning, it was already 2-3-0. Somebody would have hit one into the second deck by now. Here's the Menard's batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Eddie Rosario, Eduardo Escobar, Max Kepler, Robbie Grossman, Logan Morrison, Mitch Garver, and A-Ray Adrianza.
And Aaron Sanchez on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. He of just flat terrific stuff. Good live fastball, breaking ball, and a very, very good changeup.
Dozier to lead things off, then Mauer and Rosario. First pitch line to the second baseman, Gurriel, who was played on the other side of second base. A bullet, one pitch, one out. Northland 4 defense for Toronto. Curtis Granderson in left, Kevin Pillar very good in center field, and Hernandez is in right. And Hervis Solarte, Aledmys Diaz, Lourdes Gurriel, Justin Smoke in the infield, and Russell Martin behind the plate. So one down, and Mauer will hit. Sanchez had finger issues last year, and it really ruined his 2017. And it was one of the reasons why the Blue Jays struggled last year. So far, he's been healthy. He's been effective. Right back to Sanchez. 3 pitches, 2 outs. And that'll bring up Eddie Rosario. Now Pizza Ranch for the win. How are the Twins going to get things turned around here in the series opener?
Well, figure out how to hit a changeup, and a good changeup, because they're going to see it tonight from Aaron Sanchez. He's got a great fastball, as I mentioned, but he is throwing a lot of changeups. You see they're tied for 5th most in Major League Baseball, and half of his strikeouts are on the changeup. So you're going to have to, the Twins hitters are going to have to decipher the difference between a 94-mile-an-hour fastball and an 83-mile-an-hour changeup that comes at you with the same kind of arm speed, same arm angle. Just a very effective back and forth, hard and soft approach from Sanchez.
Couple outside to Rosario. 5 outs have been recorded, and we've had a total of 13 pitches thrown. Two and 0. Hit well to the left field corner. Granderson retreats and makes the catch. An 8-pitch top of the first, a 6-pitch bottom of the first. No score. Special day for a 5-year-old named Max. Max has a congenital heart condition, making it hard for him to do some of his favorite activities, but due to his love for baseball, his wish was to be a Twins player for a day, and today was that day. Twins were happy to be a part of his Make-A-Wish today. And he was grinning from ear to ear. He was in the clubhouse. Brian Dozier gave him a pair of sunglasses. You can see in the bill of his cap, he threw out the ceremonial first ball toss here today. Very nice of the Twins to make that happen for a very special young man. To the second inning, Yangervis Solarte will take down and away ball 1 from Lance Lynn, who got through the first inning with just 8 pitches thrown. Dick Bramer, along with Roy Smalley, joined here for a few innings anyway by Justin Morneau as well. Now, Solarte came through the Twins minor league system. You were long gone by then, right? You never crossed paths with this guy?
Nope. No, I didn't see him. I saw him, played against him a few times, but he's seems like these guys go to Toronto and they figure out how to hit home runs. It's pretty amazing.
1-1 to Solarte. Twins saw him last year when he was a member of the Padres, and the Blue Jays picked him up as kind of a utility player. Paul Molitor, the Twins manager, back in those days when Solarte was working his way through the Twins system, roved around the minor leagues and took a look at the talent. And I asked him today what he thought of Solarte back then. He said, well, he was a hitter, but they weren't sure that he was a hitter with a position, and that's one of the reasons he left the Twins organization. 1-2, and a base hit through the seam on the right side of the infield. Molitor said he didn't have a whole lot of pop in his bat back then, but as happened so many times, players get older and they develop that pop.
Well, you put on some weight, you get a little stronger, you realize to play in the big leagues you have to be as strong as you can legally make yourself. And that's what has happened with Solarte. When he was in San Diego, they expected big things from him from the power side. But Justin, you know how that ball flies in that ballpark in Toronto. You get out of the big ballpark in San Diego and get to Toronto, you got to start feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah, and all the parks in that division actually are pretty good. Other than Tampa plays pretty fair, but there's some good places to hit home runs in New York. There's some good places to hit home runs in Boston. Obviously, the Green Monster. You go to Baltimore, everywhere you hit it in Baltimore is good. Right. So I think that helps. There's also, the pitching is also better in that division, so you have to remember that. But he's done a nice job.
Now a drive to the gap in right center field, and that will get by Grossman all the way to the wall. Solarte round second to third. He'll be held there.
We get Solarte.
And the Blue Jays have opened up the second inning with a couple of hits against Lance Lynn. Second and third, and nobody out.
Well, we talked about fastball command. Justin talked about it in the pregame show, and I did in our opener. Look at this ball right here. The 2 pitches in a row in heart, kind of middle, both to Solarte and Pilar. And big league hitters know what to do when they see a pitch right in the middle of the plate.
So now second and third, nobody out, and Russell Martin will bat. Martin off to a tough start at the plate. We showed you Lynn's numbers. He has been able to strike people out, and he's in a situation here where he could use a strikeout. Down and away, ball 1.
Justin, you and I were talking before the game there about it. We kind of called it different things. I say you have to not only have command of the strike zone, you have to have command within the strike zone. And it's one thing just to throw strikes, but you get to this level, you got to throw it in the strike zone where you want to throw it.
And you have to be able to throw something other than your fastball where you want to too. It's we talked about it in the minor leagues. If you can get more than 1 pitch over, you're going to dominate. You're going to go through you're going to rise through the levels very quickly. And when you get up here, you see guys throwing their slider on the outside part of the plate, their slider on the inside part of the plate, and you have to be able to do that to pitch at this level. And it obviously starts with fastball command, and throwing strikes is one thing, but like you said, throwing them down and in, up and in, down and away, up and away.
Fouled away 2-1.
That's where you really see the pitchers separate themselves.
Right.
Lynn cruised through the first inning, strikeout and a couple of ground balls on 8 pitches. Now he's found himself in a jam here in the second inning. Foul back, and it's 2-2.
Here's a situation with guys on second and third and nobody out. I know this is hard to do, especially for a guy like Russell Martin that wants to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But from the shortstop around to first base, if you can direct the ball that way, you're going to get 1 run in and 1 run over. They're giving you a run. you can get an RBI and get a guy to third here with a ground ball to second baseman. So I think in this situation, important not to try to do too much.
Nice stop by Garver. Wicked breaking ball in the dirt.
And I think people get a little confused on getting the runner over. They're too worried about hitting it on the first base side of second base. You know, instead of going, okay, from the shortstop over, that's my opposite field.
Exactly right.
When you start trying to cut the field in half, it becomes very difficult to hit the ball on that side of the field. But if you simplify it and think shortstop over, you should be able to hit the ball at least up the middle if you shorten up your swing. But that also depends on what the pitcher gives you, and if he's able to command that inside part of the plate, it's going to be very hard to do that.
Full count to Martin. Got him on a slow breaking ball. One down, and the strikeout comes as needed. That'll bring up Kendrys Morales.
Exactly what Justin was talking about right there. Right-handed hitters used to seeing the slider away, away, away. Kind of what's called a front door slider there. Starts inside, breaks back over the inside corner, and fooled Russell Martin.
And now Morales, who's off to a bit of a slow start in his return to the Blue Jays.
I remember when this guy first came into the league with the Angels. It was impressive to watch.
He could hit, couldn't he?
Oh,
man.
From both sides of the plate,
Yep.
he was a threat. That unfortunate ankle injury that everyone remembers, it was too bad because he was off to a fabulous start to his career. Like so many of these young players that come from Cuba, he was looking like he had a chance to really be something special, and he's had a very good career, a very productive career. It's unfortunate, you know, he's one of those guys you wish you could have seen what happened if he stayed healthy.
Right. Right, great point. He was an RBI machine for the Angels when he came up.
And Garver digs another one out of the dirt. And it's 2-0. There are 3 Cubans on this Toronto team. Morales, the most veteran one. Ledmus Diaz is from Cuba, and so too is Lourdes Gurriel. And when the Blue Jays came out on the field, they all made a beeline to Tony Oliva and immediately wanted to engage him. Of course, Morales was the icebreaker because he played for the Twins briefly a few years ago and got to know Tony, who still held in legendary status in Cuba for what he did in the big leagues. 2-0 to Kendrys Morales. Missed the inside corner, 3-0, and a base is open.
And that goes to show you how important baseball is in Cuba and how it is the #1 sport. The guys still have that amount of respect for each other. I don't think there's too many guys that can go back, you know, 30 or however many years. And sometimes Tony was probably done playing before most of these guys were born.
He absolutely was.
For these guys to still have that amount of respect and to make sure they go out of their way to go out of their routine and make sure they go over and say hi to Tony and have a good conversation with him. And Tony's always so engaging. He's one of those guys that's fun to be around. He's always got a smile on his face. It's like every day he comes to the ballpark is the best day of his life, and you always want to be around a guy like that. But for them to show the respect and recognize what he did and as a player and how fun he is to be around is good to see.
See if Lynn can induce a double play grounder here. First pitch fouled away by Gurriel. You might recognize the last name, not the first name. He is the substantially younger brother of Yuli Gurriel of the Astros. Sanford Health injury report: Troy Tulowitzki hurt once again. Josh Donaldson may come back before this series is over with. He's coming back from some shoulder injuries or shoulder issues. One strike to Gurriel. Dribbled up the line. And the ball is a fair ball, and Garver picked it up. There was a force play, and had he picked it up, the runner had no choice but to run right into the tag. And so Garver thought the ball would roll foul, and it did not. It's 1-0 Toronto. If he picks it up there.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to go foul, but with the runner right in front of you, I mean, it's unfortunate. You just pick the ball up right there, and somebody's going to be out, and it's probably, or he just picked. Oh,
that ball looked like it was foul.
It was a foul ball,
but it's not reviewable because he didn't go past the umpire.
It's in front of the umpires. You're right. So Garver waited and then picked it up when it was foul, and there's nothing Paul Molitor can do about it.
But I guess my point is if he picks it up right away, the runner's going to run right into you, as you said, Dick.
At worst, it's a strike. And if he picks it up on the chalk line.
So there it's a foul ball, and when he picks it up, it's a foul ball. That's too bad.
That's too bad. You're right.
And it's a good thing he didn't kick it like he normally do when you see that ball in that line like that, and guys normally just boot it out and see him kick it away to make sure there's no mistake. But
it is Adam Hammery's call, the home plate umpire, until the ball gets to the corner base, and Hammery called it fair when in fact on replay we showed it clearly foul. So Garver knew what he was doing and he thought he did the right thing, but the umpire missed the call.
I'm surprised he didn't argue a little bit more.
Outside, 2-1.
It looked like his. Oh, no, he had a good look at it.
Yeah,
I don't know what he.
I mean, our camera can zoom in a little bit better than his eyes can. I think
the man was 6 feet away from the ball with no visual interference. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Well, slow motion is a great benefit, no question about that. But boy, that.
And it seems like, when everything's going wrong, those breaks just don't happen for you. And sometimes you have to make your own breaks, and there's enough of saying, oh, okay, stuff's not going our way. Well, Lance Lynn's going to have to pick up his teammate or pick up even the umpire right here. So
2-2 to Diaz. And a foul out of the middle. Garver, from where we're sitting in relation to that play behind the ball. So from up here, it did look like the ball was on the line. But as we clearly showed, the ball was not on the chalk at all. So good play by Garver and a tough break for the Twins. 2-2. And Lynn said, okay, I'll take care of it myself. 2 away. And Curtis Granderson, who was called out his first time up.
I will say this in defense of Garver. Justin, what do you think? In the heat of the moment, he knows that ball's going foul. If he reaches down there early on when it's on the chalk and grabs it to try to, as the runner's coming and looks up and he doesn't grab it cleanly, the run scores when it's going to be a foul ball in his mind anyway. There's a lot of things going on in a young guy's mind right there as that play's developing.
Yeah, he's going to go back and look at it and try and figure out what he could have done differently. But
strike one to Granderson.
It looked like he made. We saw the replay. The ball was foul. It looked like he made the right play. But if you pick that ball right away, and you got a fast runner at third, and he finds a way to run around you, and then everyone's going to go, "Why didn't he let it go foul?"
Just let it go foul. And I know there's a lot of things like that going on in his mind all at once, and as the play's developing in real speed, real time.
And then, given the slow roll of the ball, he did the right thing in picking it up when he did, when it was foul, because it could have hit anything and rolled back fair. And well, at any rate, 1-1 to Granderson. And now 2-1. Eight pitches in the first and already 26 here in the second, and Lynn's going to have to pitch his tail off here to keep this a 1-0 ball game. Still a dangerous situation with the bases loaded and 2 out. Fouled away, 2-2.
Lynn got away with one a little bit there. Fastball in the middle of the plate, about mid-thigh high. That's a pitch that Granderson has hit an awful lot of balls in the seat. So see with a 2-2 count if he come back and make a pitch here. So much of the battle between a pitcher and a hitter is whether or not the hitter hits the ball that he's supposed to hit when he gets it, right, Justin? And, I've always said a lot of times you strike out on a nasty pitch, and that's not what struck you out. It was the 2-1 pitch down the middle that you fouled back.
Long look in. 2-2 to Granderson. Wide of the plate. And all the runners will leave now. Base is full and the count's full. 2 away. Ball 4. And Lynn looks off in the distance. A bases loaded walk, and it's 2-0. And the 8th man to bat here in the 2nd inning is Teoscar Hernandez. Here comes Garvin Alston, a trip to the mound.
That was a close pitch. Garver wanted it, but you can see by the replay it was just off.
2 on the board for Toronto that should not be there, but they're there, and still a ticklish situation with the bases loaded and 2 out.
And his pitch count is climbing as this inning goes along, and that's not going to help him pitch deep into this ball game with how many pitches he's thrown this inning. And like I said before, sometimes you just need to create your own breaks, and it doesn't go your way. You can either feel sorry for yourself, or you can go out there and find a way to get it done. And he's a veteran guy. He should be able to
interesting here.
Compose himself.
Garvin Alston and home plate umpire Adam Hamry are having a long discussion. Usually by the time the umpire gets to the mound, everything breaks up, but there was some dialogue, maybe even trialogue, with some people on the mound and the home plate umpire.
And occasionally, I remember when we all used to go in for those meetings, but the pitching coach or the manager would go, let me know when the manager's coming out, because they were attempting to get thrown out of the game to light a fire under everybody. Obviously, he wasn't trying to do that there, but they say, let me know when he's coming. And they keep their back to him, then he'd come out, and then they kind of get into it with the umpire a little bit, and gets entertaining for the guys that are standing around there. But
that sounds like a Gardy move.
See Gardy do that a couple of times. Yep.
Strike 1 to Hernandez. Now up and away. The velocity is and has been there for Lance Lynn. That pitch clocked at 95, but the location and the command have not been there.
He just doesn't have that yet. The Granderson at bat was the best example. It got him to 2-2. He tried 2 shots at the outside corner and missed them both. He just can't quite get
Fly
it
ball
exactly
center
where it
field.
was.
Back is Kepler. Plenty of room to end the inning. The Blue Jays get a couple of runs in the 2nd inning.
Okay.
second inning at Target Field. And here is your scoop from the clubhouse. Miguel Sano is missing a third consecutive game with a tight left hamstring. Paul Molitor said that Sano ran a little bit today, but that it, quote, didn't go particularly well. Byron Buxton was going to try to hit off the tee today, still having some trouble with his toe, so that got pushed back, and Buxton will now try to run tomorrow. And Molitor talked about this starting pitching staff saying that the Twins are still trying to establish an identity as a team, and that they are still hoping that it will be a lot about the stability of the rotation. Dick and Roy, we are hoping that it establishes soon here.
Yes, we do. Very disappointing last two turns through the rotation. Barrios has fallen in line with what has been a difficult couple of turns through the rotation. Escobar tries to bunt his way aboard and then grounds out to the second baseman Gurriel, one away. Regarding Buxton, I talked with Byron today. Phil Hughes, by the way, has been moved to the bullpen now. Fernando Romero will make the start for the Twins on Wednesday, making his major league debut. One down in the second. Regarding Buxton, he says he will play as soon as he can tolerate the pain. His concern is running the bases and pivoting, putting a weight on that toe, and it's still very, very painful for him to do anything like that. And then talking with the Twins orthopedic specialist, Dr. John Steeves, he said once he gets to that point, barring a re-injury and another foul ball on the toe itself, the fracture will heal while Byron is playing. It's just being able to tolerate the pain enough to get out there and play. Chopped up the line, still 0-2 to Kepler.
And for a guy whose game is so dependent on his speed, he's so important running the bases. You know, the best defensive player in baseball in center field. You want him healthy and you want him running around out there because you don't want it to lead to another injury, knee, hip, hamstring, you name it, whatever it is. If he's running in a different way, that could be bad.
Pulled to the right side. Gurriel is there. Kepler is retired.
It's interesting, Justin, watching Sanchez so far. We talked so much about all the changeups he's been throwing and how good his changeup is. And this first time through the Twins batting order, it looks to me like he's really trying to establish his fastball. He had thrown the changeups. He's thrown the four-seamer, you know, the 95-ish, and then he's thrown a lot of two-seamers, 91. You know, ball that just sinks, unless that's just a hard changeup. But you know, I understand he's got a couple of speeds at changeup, but it looks like he's really just trying to establish his fastball first time through.
And it's worked out well for him because he got outs early in counts, and he hasn't had to go to the changeup because he hasn't had to show it to him. I think this is almost looks like the way guys used to attack hitters. You know,
right.
Don't show them anything until you have to.
Right.
It seems like most guys in today's game we're going to use all four pitches in the first inning.
Yep.
And you know he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't needed it yet.
Yeah, you look at his pitch arsenal this year. He throws a lot of fastballs and changeups, and I love that, especially in the American League with the DH. So many left-hand hitters, good left-hand hitters, and you know, as one of those, fastball changeup from a right-hander to a left-hander is the best way to get left-handers out. If you're up there as a left-hander here, you were, and a guy didn't have a good changeup, you had to feel like pretty good about your chances. Fastball, slider.
And you felt like you could pull him. There was no need to stay on anything because it was straight or it was moving towards.
Moving in on you, right?
And with the changeup, most of the time it's going to be in the outer part of the plate, the outer 2/3 of the plate, and you're going to have to, if you want to be successful on it, unless it's just a hanger at the belt, middle in. I mean, you're going to have to hit it in that other gap.
And the first Twins hit comes off the bat of Robbie Grossman. Got into a hitter's count, spanked the ball hard up the middle. A 2-out single will get Morrison to the plate.
Dick mentioned the hitter's count. Sitting on fastball, get one right in the middle of the zone and get a base hit. That's Robbie Grossman's game right there. He doesn't swing at anything bad, and he doesn't swing at early in counts. It doesn't swing at anything on the corner, and that's why he gets a lot of fastballs in the middle plate to hit.
And I wonder if he's benefited. He obviously came to this club with that skill, but from watching Joe Mauer hit as well. Anytime you're around a guy like that, and you see a guy have success, you try and figure out what makes him successful.
And that hit him. That hit Morrison, and he'll go to first, and there'll be 2 men aboard now for Mitch Garver. First pitch from the stretch came in, and John Gibbons can challenge that. And he said, hold on. And I think his catcher, perhaps, Russell Martin, said, no, it got him.
It's going to be interesting to see how he attacks him now that he's got traffic on the bases, to see if this is the time where a right-handed hitter is a little different approach for him. But you know, he's going to go. We'll see if he goes to that slider right here, if he goes to the changeup, if he's comfortable enough throwing it right, if he's got a lot of confidence in it. It's a strikeout pitch, so you'd assume if there was a situation where he's going to start throwing it, it would be right here.
Yep.
Here is Mitch Garver. Twins need an RBI hit here. Garver has 2 of those. They've both been solo home runs. Sanchez doesn't give up a whole lot of home runs, about 1 every 10 innings in his big league career. Missed the outside corner, ball 1.
Over the weekend, Justin, you were talking about a pitcher that was short arming the ball. Sanchez is the opposite of that. He doesn't short arm. He's got a longer arm delivery, but it's so smooth and so fluid, and his arm just kind of whips at you. I think the fastball's a little sneaky.
Yeah, it looks so easy. He's not, doesn't look like he's a max effort guy, and that's where he gets that late movement from. Also, he's got that long, lanky, arm comes through, and that ball just sort of sails, and you'll see it move in towards the right-handed hitter. This is tough for a right-handed hitter. When that ball, you feel it bearing in on your hands late, it makes you susceptible to that breaking ball away. So let's see if Garver can try and get him out over the plate, and I don't think he really can do anything with a ball on the black or the inner part of the plate. He needs to set his sights on the outer 2/3 and see if he can attack something up the middle.
2-0 to Garver. Check swing, 3-0.
That's the pitch you're talking about. You see all that kind of movement, and I agree with you. A ball that starts out on the inner third is going to run so hard toward the label, toward the hands on a right-handed hitter. That's tough to get the bat head out in front for that. See that ball moving up and in, as Justin was talking about. You want the ball out over the plate so it moves back into the middle, right?
Yeah.
Garver takes a strike.
And that was great discipline too. In a hitter's count, you'll say, okay, he's at a 2-0 count, and a lot of time guys will, swing out of their shoes right there and hit the ball off the label and pop it up to third or short. And he recognized that he wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. He took it, and he's still in a hitter's count.
3-1, tying run at first. 2 away here in the second. Line drive and a base hit to left. Grossman to third. He'll be held. Strong throw back to the infield, and Grossman, Morrison, and Garver have filled the bases with 2 out.
Played out just exactly that way. He got a pitch just like Robbie Grossman. He stayed patient until he got a pitch more in the middle. That ball, look how far that ball ran, but it ran just to the inside corner, not in off the plate. He was able to get the bat head out. Unfortunately, hit it hard, and the left fielder Granderson charged it well. They couldn't score even with 2 out.
And now the number 9 batter, A-Ray Adrianza. 1 run batted in on the season. Pulled foul.
And I don't know about you, Roy, but for me, this situation, you saw him throw my first pitch changeup right there. You know his best pitch is his changeup. His out pitch is his changeup. You know within the first 2 pitches, if not the first 3 pitches, he's going to throw you one. And if you're a guy that is comfortable looking off speed, there's a situation right there where you can do that. And some guys don't ever like getting off the fastball. And Adrianza's, he's been playing a lot lately, but he's not a guy that plays every day. So that's one of those things that's sometimes hard to do. You hit off the fastball, you live off the fastball. But for me, I always like to know what the guy's out pitch was, what he was going to go to in scoring position, and I might have taken a shot early in the count sitting on a changeup because it's just a slow fastball if you're looking for it.
Sharply hit, but right into the shift with Diaz playing over. The Twins fill them up and leave them full. It's 2-0 Toronto. Visit BuyFordNow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Beautiful night at Target Field, and the Blue Jays getting a couple of runs in the second inning, on to the third. And what we hope to see from Lance Lynn is something that's been an issue for him, giving up some runs, but finding something on the other end of a bad inning and continuing to pitch well. We'll hope that he can do that here tonight. Gave up a couple of solid hits to start the second inning, and then some misfortune, allowing the Blue Jays to get a couple of runs. Bases loaded walk didn't help, and there is strike one to Justin Smoke. Smoke had a breakout year last year. A lot has been expected of him through a number of different organizations, and it finally clicked last year. And we've talked about how it certainly varies from hitter to hitter, but sometimes it takes upwards of 1,500 at bats for people to figure things out. And in Smoke's case, it was about twice that much, about 2,500 at bats.
If you look at it, he's a switch hitter, so that's about equal for right.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And believe me when I tell you, you're two different hitters when you're a switch hitter.
Lifted foul and out of play, but he really jumped up and became one of the fiercest power hitters in the league last year.
And I think sometimes when he was brought in, it was in Seattle, I believe, and they kind of tried to plug him into the middle of the lineup. And when they brought him in here, he was surrounded by so many great hitters. There was less pressure on him to be that guy, and he was actually able to relax, and he developed into it naturally, as opposed to saying, hey, we brought you in to be the guy, and sort of forced it, and he wasn't quite ready yet.
Well, you remember he came up with Texas, a highly touted guy, and he was traded for Cliff Lee, I think, right? And you know that in that deal, to go up there to Seattle and be the guy. To your point, you get traded for a guy like Cliff Lee, and you get stuck in number 4 spot. That has some pressure.
Yeah, sometimes those expectations can weigh on you a little bit, and he went to Toronto with, I wouldn't say lower expectations, because the expectations are always what you put on yourself, but you know, sometimes that external stuff can factor into how you do and how much pressure you put on, and how satisfied you can be with your performance. Because you look at one guy who's a superstar and he's off to a 220 with 5 homers, and another guy, a rookie, comes up and he's off to 220 with 5 homers, and they talk about how he's off to a great start. So it's all kind of depends on the guy too, and he was allowed to develop into that guy here in Toronto.
2-2 to Smoke, leading off the Toronto third. Chopper right side. Bauer to the bag. Dozier from short right field throws him out, one away. And before Solarte's at bat. This summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. One down, and Hervis Solarte will hit. Blue Jays in a nest on the guy's cap. I'm guessing that's one of a kind, and you could not buy a hat like that at the Rogers Center.
I'm guessing you don't want to be sitting behind him either.
It's true. Here's Solarte.
I'm thinking I don't want to be sitting next to a guy to buy a hat like that. Oh no.
He's confused. Whoever wins, he's cheering for both teams, right?
1-0 to Solarte, who singled and scored in the second. Chip to short left. Rosario on the run, plays it on a hop. And a looping single to left is the 4th Toronto hit against Lance Lynn. First 2 were hit hard, second 2 were not.
You see here a little slider in the middle of the plate that Solarte doesn't hit well, but it drops in front of Rosario, who would have had to make a sliding, diving, some kind of play there. Opted not to do that, I guess, for fear of it turning into a double.
And now Pilar cracked a double to the gap in right center and scored last inning. And Lynn sticks a fastball on the outside corner. The Pilar double came on a fastball that was center cut. The rest of Lynn's pitches, I think, have been around that rectangle we showed. I think that fastball was the only one that was right down the middle. Now,
he made a good pitch to Solarte there. He threw him a cutter up under his hands, and he beat him. He hit it just soft enough to actually fall in front of Rosario. It wasn't like he barreled it and the thing was knocking down the wall out there. He hit it with a little bit of good luck in the right spot.
1-1.
And I agree with you, Dick. I think he's been better around the perimeter of the zone for strikes than he's been this season.
Line to Escobar. 2 down. I don't know how you guys did it. I mean, just the injustice of it all. Here's Solarte, who gets fooled, jammed, whatever, right off the end of the bat. Hits a little, flare to left. He gets a base hit. Pilar hits it right on the button for an out. How do you sleep at night?
Sometimes you don't. He's you always try and take baseball's, I think, in my opinion, the most mental game there is. You try and take positives, even if you don't get the result you want. You say, my approach was good, my swing was good, I just didn't hit it where somebody wasn't standing. And then Solarte, you hit it and you go, okay, I got a hit.
The problem is, especially nowadays with the scoreboards, they put your face up there, your name up there. They don't say he had a really good at bat in the 3rd inning. It just says 0 for 1.
But that's the game. That's just baseball. You get used to that early on, or you don't get anywhere near this level.
Well, and I say it to young hitters all the time, and I wish I could go back in time, like we always do when we get towards the end of our career. If I could tell my younger self whatever. I said it took me 10 years in the big leagues before I got comfortable of lining out and knowing that I didn't do anything wrong, that I didn't need to make some kind of adjustment. I talked about this the other day. If you hit a ball in the screws and the guy catches it, it's right at him, doesn't mean you need to change something and try and hit it higher next time, or try and hit it not where the second baseman is standing. You can't control where those guys play. Your job, the pitcher really is the one who dictates where you hit the ball. If the pitcher throws the ball inside, you pull it. If he throws it away, you're supposed to hit it the other way. So if the guys happen to be standing where you hit it, that's not your fault. So you try and take those small victories, or those moral victories, if you want to call them that.
So that's what Brian Dozier's doing right now. He hit an absolute bullet in his first at bat. He lined out, and so he's consoling himself with the fact that, I hit the ball hard. There's just somebody standing there.
Unless you're in the middle of a 1 for 25 or whatever, and you haven't hit a home run in about a month, like Brian has. So sometimes that stuff wears on you, and you'll end up using somebody else's bat, or you'll change your batting gloves. Sometimes you'll go with high socks, whatever it is, even though it has nothing to do with what the result is or how you're swinging the bat, for yourself mentally to think, maybe if I try something different, I'll end up getting a hit. Maybe it's no batting practice, whatever. But I'm sure it's still early enough where Brian's not reaching that far yet.
Lynn's 3rd walk of the ball game puts runners at 1st and 2nd, and Kendrys Morales takes outside ball 1. Morales worked the count to 3 balls and was intentionally walked in the 2nd. Blue Jays got their runs on 3 hits and 2 walks in the 2nd. Now another hit and a walk in the 3rd. And missing twice outside. Well, 57 pitches and just 29 strikes for Lance Lynn.
You can see the real contradiction that is Lance Lynn, or at least the good guy and the bad guy. I mean, when he's in the strike zone, the ball moves in the strike zone, generally in good spots, and then he just loses the feel for it. And see right there, he's flying open a little bit. His arm on that pitch, when he's trying to hit the outside corner, it looks to me like he's a little bit more open on his front side, and his arm drags a little bit, and he just can't find that outside corner. And he goes through these streaks where all of a sudden he just loses the command of the strike zone.
3-0 to Morales, and a 4-pitch walk, and Lance Lynn has now walked 4 men. In his Cardinal career, parts of 6 years, he pitched nearly 1,000 innings in the big leagues and walked 369 guys. And that's a little high, but that's roughly 3 per 9 innings, and that's kind of the major league standard, roughly. But he's had control issues here, and he's found himself in another bases loaded situation after back-to-back walks in the third. The batter is Lourdes Gurriel. And a breaking ball, or I guess a fastball down and away. Ball 1.
And I think when your misses are far enough off, you know, if your miss is 8-10 inches off the plate, you're not going to get chases on those ones that are 2 or 3 inches off the plate. If you're on the corner, just off the corner, on the corner, just off the corner, then you get guys leaning out there feeling like that's the only thing they're going to get to hit. But if it's a foot off the plate and then it's center cut and it's foot off the plate, that's when you get yourself really in trouble.
And the other thing about that too, Justin, is when you're a foot off the plate on either side, you're high, you're not anywhere close, guys just start keyholing more and more. You know, they start looking for, their strike zone gets smaller, and they start hitting like every time up is like 2-0 and 3-1, because they just don't believe you can throw enough strikes. So they're looking for that ball right there. When they get it, boy, they just tattoo it. And there's no surprise factor anymore. When a guy's all around and then throws one right there, guys are ready for it right there. When you're around the plate all the time, you get away with that you chase more. You know, the hitters will chase more, and you also get away with some good pitches to hit more often than you do when you're all around the plate, when you're all over the place. Guys they just start honing in on it right down the middle when they know you can't throw enough strikes.
1-2, and Lynn leaves the bases full for the second inning in a row. The Blue Jays lead it 2-0. Still trail 2-0 on this date in 1961. Our Coors timeless moment. Harmon Killebrew hit his first home run as a member of the Twins. He hit 84 as a member of the Washington Senators. Harmon went deep off White Sox starter Bob Shaw at Metropolitan Stadium for career home run number 85, and he'd go on to hit almost 500
more.
Yeah. That's a lot of home runs.
It's a lot of home runs.
2-0, and now the second time through the batting order for the Twins against Aaron Sanchez, starting with Brian Dozier. Cracked a line drive, hit right to Lourdes Gurriel, and Dozier takes a strike over the inside corner. Brian has proven the ability and the desire to hit the ball over the fence. So guys, why has he not homered in 4 weeks?
That's a good question. I'm sure he's searching for that answer too, but I feel like he's a guy that really takes advantage of mistakes. Everyone knows what he's trying to do. He's a home, when he pulls home runs, or when he hits home runs, he pulls them.
Backhanded by Gurriel, and Dozier thrown out, one away.
And sometimes you get those pitches and you're just going through a time where you're just not seeing the ball that well. You don't feel comfortable, whether it's you're not picking it up right out of the hand or you're picking it up later. And if I had an answer, I mean, I had times where I went a month without hitting a home run, and the thing that I would do is I'd set a tee up and I'd just practice hitting the ball off the tee, practice hitting with backspin and try and hit the ball over the fence and get that confidence back, get that swing back. Sometimes you have to retrain that swing, and I'm sure he's got his ways that he goes about trying to find that swing, and it's in there because he's always got it.
Hey, I want you to show the viewers here what you're doing here for the first time in your life. Okay? You didn't do it over the weekend. Justin Morneau is keeping score of a baseball game for the first time in his life.
I'm not sure if it counts with a turquoise pen, though. I don't know.
Go up and show him. Yeah. See? I mean,
I'm the only one who can read this writing, too.
You're the only one that has to.
And I've copied off both of your guys' sheet about 5 different times because I keep forgetting to do it.
2-0 to Joe Mauer. Mauer will be followed by Rosario. And now 3-0. And you look at this Twins lineup, and it doesn't in any way excuse the substandard pitching that the Twins have put out there over the last 10 games or so. But this lineup doesn't look nearly as formidable without Miguel Sano and Byron Buxton. In their own ways, they provide so much for this lineup. And so the Twins are handcuffed. I was going to say hamstrung. That would be a poor choice of words. They just haven't been able to get those guys on the field yet.
And I don't know if the answer, obviously Byron's a little different than Miguel Sano, but it's kind of been one of those things that's hampered him throughout his career. He hasn't played 150 games yet. We haven't seen what he can do in a full season, and he has that 40 homer potential. He has the potential to hit a home run every time he walks up to the plate. So I don't know if that means more games DHing, if he plays some games at first where he doesn't have to come in and make those plays on the run like he does at third. I don't know what it is, but
talked to him today. I said, is it getting any better today? And he shook his head right away. He said, no. And Twins, of course, playing when everyone's healthy. Here's a ball lined to left, and that'll carry to Granderson, who makes the catch for out number 2. If everybody's healthy, it's only a 3-man bench, and if Sano can't play, now you're dealing with your backup catcher and 1 bench move.
And that makes it easy for the opposing manager to match up because he doesn't have to worry about pinch hitting. But you know, when Paul Molitor was talking about his injury yesterday, I like that he said that he's available to pinch hit, because it puts in that other manager's mind that I might have to save my right-handed ace reliever in case he comes up to pinch hit. I might, and there's a situation, it just creates that doubt in the other opposing manager's mind.
See, I didn't believe it yesterday, but today is National Honesty Day. And he said the same thing today, so it has to be true. Yesterday, nah, but it's National Honesty Day today.
But I would just tell you, though, that Justin's absolutely right about Sano's ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark if he would, and what's going to happen if he plays 150 games, if he gets 500 plate appearances in a season, because I don't care, the ball's just going to show up and go over the fence. Pitches are going to show, 35 pitches are going to show up that end up over the fence, whether he hits 200 or 300. There's going to be 35 pitches a year in a full season that show up, that end up in the seats. So it's just the way it's going to be with that big man.
2 years ago was another hamstring issue. Last year, of course, the shin issue. And whether the Twins put him on the disabled list or not remains to be seen. Keeping in mind that nowadays it's a 10-day disabled list, not a 15-day. Here's a fly to center, and Pilar can put that. Whoa, he has to scamper back a little bit farther than he thought. The Twins get a walk to Mauer, leave him aboard as we head to the 4th. 2-0 Toronto.
Coaching Alliance in Minnesota. Amy Sinclair is the spokesperson here. This is a wonderful organization sending a great message about youth sports. Amy, what do we need to know about Minnesota Positive Coaching Alliance?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit to keep the positive impact in sports so that kids can have a good youth experience, a positive, build their confidence, be great teammates, and build their character.
And how are you guys accomplishing that?
Well, we do workshops, and we work with youth sports organizations, high schools and colleges, and we do coaches workshops, athlete, parent, and for leaders of organizations.
And I know you have a special event coming up May 9th. It's here at Target Center. The keynote speaker is Gophers head football coach PJ Fleck, Target Field where the Twins play. Minnesota Positive Coaching Alliance, and this event is open to the public. You can come, you can listen to PJ Fleck speak.
Yes, absolutely. Join us.
Yes, please. Tickets are available at minnesota.positivecoach.org. Amy, thank you for your time and thank you for the great work that this organization is doing.
Thanks for having us.
Dick and Roy and Justin.
Thank you very much. More information on the Positive Coaching Alliance. And during that interview, Diaz hit a fly ball to center, caught by Kepler. One down. Here's Curtis Granderson, and he takes ball one.
I think something to keep an eye on this time of night. The twilight hits, and you saw it the last inning. Pilar kind of lost that ball a little bit and ended up finding it late. But this time of day it becomes really difficult for the outfielders to see the ball when it goes up in the air. And it only lasts for about 2 innings, but you'll see the outfielders sometimes look in and they're asking the infielders to point out the ball where it is so they can go up and if they can't see, they check their infielders real quick, look up, and then it helps them find the ball again. But you see at this time of night, balls get lost every once in a while up there.
Out to Granderson, 2-0, and now a ball hook foul. And that's a problem in more than this ballpark. In Anaheim, it's a big problem. And I don't know, is it a problem in Kansas City? Seems like in Kansas City, for some reason, it goes from daylight to pitch black in about 3 minutes. There's no light pollution because the ballpark is out, in the countryside. It's not in downtown Kansas City. Check swing 3-1. So is that an issue in Kansas City?
I don't know. I was glad that I stood on the infield most of the time.
Yeah.
I never really had to worry about it that much. But yeah, I think each ballpark's different, but usually at the twilight time is when it's hard because the background isn't dark yet. So there's no contrast against the night sky, and the lights aren't picking up the ball yet.
And another walk. Lynn issued 2 walks in the second, 2 walks in the third, and now 1 here in the fourth. Partial season ticket packages are now available in the Delta Sky 360 Club. You can become a Twins season ticket holder today and become part of the Sweet Spot Rewards program. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. And now Teoscar Hernandez. Blue Jays have only 4 hits, but Lance Lynn has issued 5 walks here tonight. 1 out in the fourth. Fastball up and in.
We mentioned his 5 walks so far tonight. We mentioned he's walking 8.5 guys per 9 innings on average so far this year. And there's hardly anybody stuff. Nolan Ryan was the only person I ever saw that had stuff that was good enough to overcome that kind of bases on balls. You can't overcome putting that many guys on base without making a swing the bat.
And you're forcing yourself to focus on not only the hitter, but trying to control the run game also. You got Granderson over there, historically has been able to steal a lot of bases. So you're kind of putting yourself in this, your focus is on the plate and trying to find the strike zone, but at the same time you're trying not to let him get too good of a jump over there.
The theory was because Lynn missed the 2016 season because of Tommy John surgery, and his walk rate was the highest it was in his career last year, that the second year removed from surgery and the rehab, that his control would be finer and the command would be there, but that has not been the case so far. 2-1.
And I think it still could be. I mean, I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but he started late in spring training. He missed those first few starts, and he's probably right now where he would be at the end of spring training, maybe 1 or 2 starts ahead. But so he's maybe facing big league hitters and big league lineups.
He's been to the right field corner and over the reach of Grossman. Granderson round second. He'll go to third. And it'll be a double for Teoscar Hernandez with one out in the fourth.
Well, this is what we're talking about right here. There's a double. If you make everybody swing the bat, the percentages are just in your favor. Actually, really great hitting by Hernandez, and he's been really good so far, just outside of the over the reach of Robbie Grossman. Lance Lynn thinking maybe that ball might have been caught, but my point is that if you make everybody swing the bat, the percentages are with you and guys stringing a lot of hits together. But if you walk a guy or two an inning, it only takes one hit or two hits rather than 4 or 5 to have a big inning. And it just the arithmetic just doesn't work for you.
Corner infielders are even with the bases, middle infielders back, and 2 of them on the right side for Justin Smoke. One and 0 to Smoke with first base open. That gets away from Garver, and here comes the run to score. Granderson with a good read is able to score, and it's 3-0, and Hernandez goes to third. Passed ball on Garver. Yeah, hit him right in the thumb of the glove. And now the infield will come in. One and 1 to Smoke. He's hit 2 ground balls to the right side. And now a violent swing and a miss. 1 and 2.
And this is the situation I fought a lot as a player. It just looks so easy to hit a ground ball to short. And everyone sitting there going, okay, they got the shift on. The whole left side of the infield's basically open unless you hit it right at third base. But it's not that easy with a guy throwing 95 miles an hour up under your hands.
Smoke in his career more than a strikeout every 4 at bats. That's down the right field line. Headed to the corner and just barely into the seats. Nice catch by somebody down there. I think he caught it, didn't he? It bounced out.
Go to review.
It was clearly in the exchange.
He lost it on the hug.
Yeah, on the hug. You got to give him credit for the catch. High fly right field. Grossman back, and it is gone. A home run. 3 for the Jays here in the 4th. Justin Smoke hits his 4th of the year, and it's 5-0. And the numbers for Lance Lynn aren't going to be very good again here tonight.
Trying to get the ball inside. You see where the target is. He's trying to get it way in there, and it leaks back over the inside corner. This is where Smoke wants the ball. He wants it middle in so he can pull it. You can tell by the shift that he wants to be a pull hitter. And if you're going to throw it in there to set up something else, you got to get it way in. You just have to be able to do that.
1 down, and the trouble this inning, as it so often does, started with a walk. You can see the Twins had their problems with the Yankees last week, and the Blue Jays right behind them in terms of extra base pop. 1-1.
And as a player, you never want to point fingers. You don't want to go, okay, the pitching's not giving us a chance to hit, or when the pitchers are throwing well, then the hitters aren't hitting, whatever it is. But it's really hard to get anything going offensively when you're spending most of the game playing defense.
And a long run, and Escobar can't quite glove it down by the tarp, beyond the tarp, actually. And when it happens, you know, seemingly night after night, it really has to wear on your psyche as a hitter.
Well, you get up there with nobody on. Here's Escobar going after this ball. He ran a long way for that ball. And I think if you ask him, he'd want that play back, but that's a really tough play going that way over your head.
Yeah, the ball spinning back into the field, with that foul ball spin that it's got, from a left-hand hitter. That is far. You're right. As far as he ran for that ball, to then try to stay with the spin coming back away from the stands, that would have been a terrific catch if you'd made it.
1-2 to Solarte. 2 singles so far for the first-year Blue Jay.
And going back to my point, I think it makes you get up there and you're thinking you need to hit a 3-run homer with nobody on base just to get you back in the game, and you start trying to do more than you're capable of, instead of like Robbie Grossman's at bat. He takes a ball down the middle, hits a bullet up the middle, and try to get something going one guy at a time instead of trying to do it all at once and trying to do it all yourself. I think sometimes you can lose track of that when you get down early and you start putting that added pressure on yourself.
Tapped up the right side. And Maurer will make the play himself for out number 2.
Well, there is a lot of momentum in this game. There's no question about it. The momentum is enhanced with crisp outings by the pitching staff, and it's absolutely brought to a screeching halt when you see walk, double, walk, home run. And you're behind, and it does change the whole psyche of the way the game's going. Now, the other piece of that is momentum's pretty good if you start scoring runs yourself early, first inning, second inning, third inning, right? I mean, the Twins haven't done a great job of that yet as a lineup. They're not hitting on all cylinders quite yet, so it's.
And I think the other way it affects you is defensively. If you're standing around a lot and you're 2-0 and your walks and whatever, and then all of a sudden you want a guy, you see Grossman just missed that ball, Escobar just missed that ball. If there's a quicker pace and working ahead and the defense is getting a lot of work, so there's a lot of balls in play and all that stuff, your defense is a little more on their toes. They're prepared for the ball to come hit on them. But if it's ball, foul ball, and all of a sudden you get surprised when somebody puts the ball in play, and then sometimes you don't see the guys making the plays for you, and that can be frustrating as a pitcher. But at the same time, if the pace is good and everything else, then your defense can really help you out.
That's where you see all the really great defensive plays made time after time, is when the guys around the plate all the time. There's no question about it.
Lance Lynn got through the first inning with 8 pitches thrown, and it has been he's been pitching in quicksand ever since, it seems. Fouled away.
And it all kind of turned on that foul ball that wasn't, but at the same time, as a veteran guy, sometimes you just got to make your own breaks.
Yep.
Already 87 pitches thrown. Not a hint of activity in the Twins bullpen. The Twins are hoping to get at least 5 innings out of Lynn. 2-2. Jam shot. Lynn covering the bag, and the call is out. And Blue Jays are going to take a look at this, because I think Villar, with a head first slide, beat Lynn to the bag.
Pretty good play by both guys here. Brian makes a very nice play charging that ball, and Lynn finding the bag and the ball. And I thought he was out when it happened.
He found the bag with his foot and then caught the ball.
Yep.
I don't think that'll be overturned, and I don't think the Jays will even challenge it, given the score here of 5-0. And they won't. So nice play by Brian Dozier and Lance Lynn, but the Blue Jays get 3 more in the 4th. Large cats, primates, polar bears, aquatic animals, and a Japanese garden all in one place. One of the last free zoos in the United States. Como is home to a wide array of animals and plants and welcomes visitors 365 days a year. You can find travel inspiration at exploreminnesota.com. Share your favorites with #OnlyInMN. Dick Bramer, Roy Smalley, and Justin Morneau and Marnie Gellner all covering the opening game of this series, but it has started like so many have in the last week and a half. A big lead for the other guys. Max Kepler hit a ground ball in the second, his first time up. Kepler, Grossman, and Morrison here in the fourth. Aaron Sanchez, pretty tough customer with that great changeup. And Kepler drives it into the right field corner, and it'll drop and get by Hernandez. Kepler will round second and head to third. A stand-up triple for Max Kepler.
Well, good for Max. He went down and got a breaking ball, it looked like, and hit it into right field. He was going for two all the way. You see this little breaking ball. Max, a good low ball hitter. He hits it into double territory out there, and then Hernandez with a little bit of an oops going after the ball. Max just keeps right on going, and good for him to start the inning with an extra base hit. Twins have had an awful lot of innings where the hits or walks have come with two out. It's tough to get the key hit then, but starting the inning off here, maybe now they can get a big inning going. You know, Justin, we were talking about the malaise of, you know, when there's a not crisp pitching performances and all of that, but this is before your time. The old phrase, take the bull by the horns. When you're going, this is an old baseball saying, but when things are going bad, somebody's got to step up and do something. The only way you get out of this is for a pitcher to step up and do something great on the mound, give him 6 or 7 innings, hold him down. For the hitters to start, you know, somebody get a big hit. You know, that's really what's needed here when you go through a streak like this.
And sometimes it's not even a home run. Sometimes it's a triple. Sometimes it's beating out an infield hit. Right. Something to get the boys up off the bench and get them excited. And a triple can do that a lot of times because you're sitting there, you're excited, and Max easily, once he hit that first base, and could have started cruising into second, but he never stopped running hard. He never assumed that it was just a double. He was running hard out of the box, and he got rewarded by going to third base.
That's what got Clay Bellinger in trouble with Dave Roberts last night on the Dodgers game. He hit one to Triples Alley in San Francisco, but stopped at second base and got pulled out of the ball game.
And it wasn't just, to Justin's point, it wasn't that he stopped at second base. It said he had to because he was jogging all the way from the, you know, from out of the box.
Because he carried his bat almost all the way to first base.
Right.
2-2 to Grossman. High and tight.
And you know the ballparks. Well, at least I knew the ballparks where there was a chance where I could maybe get a triple. Like Detroit was one of the only ones. If I hit the ball to right center, I knew I had to run hard out of the box because it's 490 feet to right center in Detroit.
Or more.
That's the only way I'm getting a triple, unless somebody falls down. But so you kind of know, and you know coming out of the box, and then you play in small parks. Cincinnati, there's not many triples.
Line to right, and Hernandez makes the catch. And Kepler played it about 1/5 of the way off the bag, given the score. No sense in trying to risk another out.
Well, except that that's a mistake, actually. I mean, the ball's hit in the air like that. If the ball drops, you score. You can go back and tag and run 89 feet, you know, and score on that. I think you got to tag up on that ball.
And at least force him to draw a throw, even if you're not going to go with nobody out. He's probably not going to send him anyway. He got behind that ball. He came in and he got himself caught in between a little bit. And that's the worst place you can be as a base runner, I think.
Right.
He'll go back and look at it, and the score says he's probably not. Gene Glenn's probably not going to send him right there, but you got to give him a chance to send you in case he falls down while he's diving for that ball, whatever it is.
Well, and not only that, I mean, okay, so go back and tag up, and then if the ball drops and you could have scored, well, so what? It's 5-0. Your run still is not that important yet. But go back to your point. I mean, go back and give yourself a chance. Give the right fielder a chance to do something bad. Fall down, drop it, whatever.
Well, even forcing him to draw a throw, he can throw that ball, it can hit off Russ Martin's shin pad and scoot up the line, whatever it is, or you get a read on how good his arm is. Anytime you can get information, because it could help you later in this game. It could help you tomorrow. You could see if he has a plus arm in right field, but if you don't actually have to test him, then you don't know if he can throw that ball all the way in the air. I mean, if you're on the bench, he sails it over the cutoff, man, whatever it is, there's information to be had in almost every play that happens, and that's one of those ones where even if you're not going to score, you can force him to draw a throw and you can learn something from it.
Kepler with a triple to start the inning, and Grossman, despite the out, had a good at bat, hit the ball hard. And that's what the Twins need to get back into the ball game. A sequence of good plate appearances. Morrison up there now with a 2-1 count. Garver on deck. 3-1. Sanchez has issued one walk. He's also hit a batter. He hit Morrison with the pitch grazing his jersey, perhaps. Twins filled the bases after the second out. And the Blue Jays, as lopsided as the score is right now, they've left the bases full twice tonight. 3-1 to Morrison. Rolled to the right side. Now Kepler will score. Twins are on the board, but now there are 2 down. Morrison getting his 7th run batted in.
Okay, so now I'm convinced. I was told by some of the Blue Jay guys that Sanchez throws a hard changeup. He'll throw it anywhere from 84, 85, all the way up to 89 or 90. Those 2-seam fastballs, I thought were 2-seam fastballs. He's throwing at 90, 91 mile an hour, what he calls a changeup, and that's what we got here. 3-1.
And Garver gets his second hit, a sharp single up the middle, and that'll get Adrianza to the plate.
And that 3-1 changeup's all Russ Martin behind the plate, and that's him having confidence in him being able to throw it. But he's going, okay, Logan Morrison's up here trying to hit a 2-run homer. He's in an offensive count. We can't walk him right here, but they know that his changeup's his best secondary pitch, and he can throw it for strikes. Even if it was still center cut, but he's out front because he's trying to get the Twins, like we talked about earlier, trying to get the Twins back in the game. You know, if the Twins are up 5-0, he might just take that, either not swing at that pitch or take his base hit up the middle, but instead he's thinking, I got to get us back in the game right here. I'm supposed to do damage. I need to hit a home run right here. Instead of letting the game come to him, trying to force it, sometimes you do as a player when you're behind in the game. And that was one of those ones. He did drive the run in, but I think Logan's probably not going to be all that happy with that at bat.
1 strike to Adrianza. Hit a ground ball to short with the bases loaded in the second.
That's partly the pitcher too, Justin. You know, that changeup, if it were the normal changeup, 83 miles an hour, he probably would have taken that pitch because it's so much slower that you get out in front. You say 3-1, I'm not swinging at that. But at the 90 miles an hour, it's almost like a batting practice fastball. It looks a lot more like a fastball. And he just got him out toward the end a little bit.
And a 4-hopper to second. Gurriel makes the play. The Twins take a leadoff triple from Kepler, turn it into a run, and it's 5-1. Dancing the night away, our Pepsi fans of the game enjoying a night at Target Field. It's nice to make a sweatshirt optional instead of mandatory at the ballpark. Kids excited to be here, excited that school's going to end in what, about a month?
Baseball season starting for the kids. My kids had their
they're actually able to get
tonight.
outside and play. Practice anyway. Here's Russell Martin to start the 5th. Lance Lynn would love to have a quick 1-2-3 inning here. And he misses with the first pitch. And that's been an issue, of course, when we say a pitcher has control issues. You look at Lynn's strike percentage. It's not good. 89 pitches, 46 strikes. Trevor Hildenberger getting loose with Lynn about to deliver his 90th pitch. And a not frequent enough delivery of strike 1 on the first pitch.
And I think we've kind of, I wouldn't say we're knocking him, because there's nobody more frustrated right now than Lance Lynn. He knows what he's doing, and he knows that he's going through, and he knows that's not good enough, and he knows he needs to be better, and he wants to be better. It's not like he's out there trying to go 1-0 and 2-0. When you don't have that feel that you normally have, it's so frustrating as a player.
8 of 24 first pitch strikes, when ideally you'd have 8 of 24 non-first pitch strikes. 3-0 to the leadoff man here in the 5th. There's a deep drive to left. Green lighted on 3-0, and Martin connects. And it is 6-1.
Sitting all over a fastball, obviously. 3-0. Looking for, as a veteran hitter, you look for a ball right in the exact spot you want it, and that's where it was thrown. Middle. Cheat on the fastball a little bit. You've got nothing to lose. You just get it going like it's batting practice, and if it's not right in that one spot, you take it. If it is in that one spot, you get the bat head out in front, it's going to go in the seats.
Here is Morales. He's walked a couple of times. Sharply hit to Adrianza. And there is the first out of the inning. Well, you could see on replay, Garver's target was down and away, and the ball could not have been thrown more directly down the middle of the plate, or middle of the strike zone.
I think at that point his misses were so far off, either maybe he didn't think he was swinging, or he's just trying to find the strike zone, and he figured he might have had a free strike right there to do it. And obviously Russ was green lighted right there and didn't miss it. But when you're so erratic, you just want to get that ball over, and you want to feel what a strike feels like coming out of your hand, and Russ didn't give him a chance to do that. He took advantage of the one that he threw him.
And John Gibbons, just an old-time veteran manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's got a veteran hitter up there, and Russell Martin, who's hitting about $170, and and so the manager's thinking, I can get this guy going. I can get my guy going here. Let me give him the green light. He's not going to swing at ball 4. He's a veteran hitter. If he gets a fastball down the middle, maybe he does something big, and I really can get my guy going here. And I think that's a good call by the manager.
Off the end of the bat, Dozier with a quick flip to Mauer, 2 away. Gurriel retired, and that'll bring up Aledmys Diaz. Soft contact, and Lynn will take all that he can get. Pitch in on him, and he hit it right off the end of the bat. That's hard to do.
Breaking ball that he was way out in front of. When you get a breaking ball from the middle in and you hit it off the end of the bat to the right side, you're out in front.
And you've probably been fooled, which happens to everybody. I mean, you see, you're thinking middle in, you're thinking pull homer or whatever you're thinking, and all of a sudden that ball starts middle in, and your eyes light up, and your head goes somewhere in your own dugout, and all of a sudden it's off the end of the bat.
Ground ball to Dozier. And Lynn fell behind. The control issues an issue again, not with a walk this time, but in a 3-0 home run. to submit a photo and message for the opportunity to be featured in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle during our broadcast and receive $100 in scratch tickets. With the Minnesota Lottery, every day is game day. Dick Bramer, Roy Smalley, Justin Morneau, Marnie Gellner. Been another frustrating night for Lance Lynn as the Twins find themselves behind now 6-1. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, and Eddie Rosario will hit here. Just I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to ask you over the weekend, but I forgot. Ball one. I had a talk with Joe Mauer, I believe it was Saturday, and I just asked him how many bats he broke in a year, because we don't see Joe breaking bats very often, right? We saw somebody hit one right off the end of the bat in the last half inning, but we don't see Joe shattering his bats. And he said he thought about 3 a month.
Well, I think the year he hit 360, didn't he only break like 2 bats or something?
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask him. I mean, where he was now in terms of making good contact. There's a breaking ball, 1 and 2. He said he wears them out more than he breaks them.
And that's what happens when you only swing at pitches in the strike zone.
Right.
You hit it on the barrel a lot, and you wear the barrel out.
See, I broke a ton of bats because I swung at a lot of bad pitches, and I swung maple because early in my career, I swung ash, and I felt like if I mishit the ball, it broke in the handle a ton. Right below where the pine tar is, I felt like you would just crack it a little bit, and you couldn't tell. And with maple, if you break it, you know it's broken, and it goes. But that's a testament to how good his hand-eye coordination is. And like I said, when you swing at pitches in the strike zone, it's a lot easier to get the barrel on it.
Dozier swings on one high and tight. He strikes out 1 down. So Mauer will come here, and generally the way this works, I mentioned something like that, and we'll see a splintered bat go into about 6 different pieces. But 3 bats a month, 6-month baseball season. That's up in Canada. How did
18.
18. All right. And what, a box of bats comes in what, 6 or 12?
Depends, usually 12.
Okay. So that's not even 2 boxes of bats for a season.
For me, I'd order them in 24s. But
So how many do you think you'd break over the course of a season?
Ooh, I actually was, when they started tracking, trying to figure out why the maple bats were splintering and whatever, I said, even though it's not a good stat, at least I was in the top 3 in Major League Baseball and something. I think I broke like 80-something bats one year or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I was keeping the bat company in business.
Now it's 0-2 to Mauer. Roy, when you played, of course you took those little nails and hammered them together and used the electrician's tape, right, like we did as kids?
Yeah, I mean, I get 2 bats a month. I did.
You worked for the Griffith family. You had to make them last, right?
I didn't break as many bats as Justin's. I didn't use maple bats, so I didn't break as many as he's claiming. I don't know if I believe him.
1 and 2.
That Justin broke that many bats. I didn't, but I sure broke more than Joe. Of course, everybody breaks more bats than Joe does. But Justin, did you do this when I get a box of bats? So there's a dozen bats in a box, and I take them all out and I look at the grain of the wood. You want that wide, the grain spread wide apart, at least in the old ash bats, and that's what we used to look for. And so I take out there, maybe if I had 6 or 7 out of 12 that had really good wide grain, I thought it was a golden box.
Really?
The other ones, the narrow grain, it was softer wood. I'd use for batting practice. Did you have gamers?
It's knocked down by the pitcher. Gurriel recovers and throws Mauer out, 2 away.
Did you split them up into gamers and BP bats like that?
It was a little different with maple. I did that when I started with ash, and you do that, and they're, like you said, if it's usually 2 or 3 in a box that were good, and then the rest of them were BP bats, and you.
Except when Rod used to get 12 out of 12. I'm just telling you, I've never seen anything like it.
You win 6 batting titles or whatever. They'll send you the best wood because everyone wants to see what kind of bat you're swinging.
Are you kidding me? It was a C243 named after him, that he designed that style. You think that Louisville Slugger was ever going to let him be unhappy with an order of bats? He'd send them back.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to sell Mr. Carew short. He won 7 batting titles. But and because of how many more swings you take in batting practice and you wear the bats out, you do need about 9 bats for BP for every 3 you use in the game, basically. Right. So because they would wear out unless you taped them up like you do in the minor leagues. But with maple, it's a little different. And I always swung a heavier bat in batting practice because the pitch was coming in at 60 miles an hour or slower, whatever it was. And when I got to the game, I wanted my bat to feel a little lighter because I swung a bat that was I swung a 35-inch 33 ounce,
Yeah.
and there's not many guys now that swing that size of bat because of the velocity, and you need a little lighter bat, and you want to be able to wait a little longer. But so I would swing a 35 in BP or a 35-34 in BP, so that by the time the game came, I felt like my timing was the same. I wasn't out front of the batting practice pitcher's fastball. My timing was very similar to what it was going to be in the game. So that's how I kind of did it. So I actually would take pride in wearing out a bat that I used for batting practice, which you could do with maple, and it would the paint would wear off one side, and it would last 2 or 3 months, and I was pretty proud of that I was able to make it through. And Joe doesn't break them in the games. I was happy when I didn't break bats in batting practice.
Rosario takes a walk. You saw Hildenberger warming up. It looks like he'll pick up the game in the 6th inning, and the Twins trying to do some damage here with 2 outs in the 5th. Escobar, the batter, he's 0 for 2. So you guys had the same experience with bats, opening up a box of bats and hoping to find a couple of nice ones in there. It's like me with baseball cards. You'd open up a pack of cards and you'd get, the commons. But if you got a Mickey Mantle when I was a kid, well, that was really good.
Oh yeah, and I collected cards too.
There's a high fly center field. Going back is Pilar. Still going back. That ball is gone. Escobar with a 2-run jolt with 2 outs in the 5th. By default, inserted as the cleanup batter, and he is swinging the bat like a cleanup batter.
Tremendous power generated from that little guy's body. He's got maybe the most exemplary leg drive. Maybe the most exemplary leg drive of in hitting mechanics, pound for pound, of anybody that's playing in the game today. It's where all of his power comes from, his ability to drive his back leg and backside.
And now Kepler driving on toward the gap. Pilar chasing that, and he makes the catch. Another well-hit ball off the bat of Kepler. Hey, the Twins took a 2-out walk, hit a 2-run home run, and they're back in the game at 6-3. Two-run home run after the 2-out walk. It's nice to see the other guys pay a price for walking a batter.
Look where he gets his power from. Look as he drives his right leg and backside into a square and firm front leg. That is where he generates power. He crashed that ball straight away center, and it's all about that leg drive. Driving the back hip into the front hip without the front foot opening, that creates a torque of hip into hip that generates power, and he does it, as I said, pound for pound as well as anyone in baseball, I think.
Somebody needs to go get that baseball. It's still leaning up against the base of the batter's eye, and now a very, very important inning or two from Trevor Hildenberger. The Twins have played the script before, fallen behind big early. They've tried to come back, and then the balloon keeps leaking air in the middle innings, and the chances of a comeback are almost impossible. The Twins absolutely have to have Hildenberger and his brethren out in the bullpen put up a few zeros here.
No question about it. This is where the old phrase, hold them right there. Just hold them down. Hitters are excited again all of a sudden. Give us a chance. We've got
good change up and a quick strikeout.
We've got 4 more innings to get 3 or 4 more runs or more. Hold them right there.
1 down in the 6th inning. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout, other restrictions apply, of course. Visit MLB.tv for details. 1 strike to Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez with a double, and now a soft tapper back to the mound. Easy play for Hildenberger, 2 away.
Good sinking fastball there, and that's so important to Hildenberger. He's got a great changeup for 2 reasons. The arm speed is great on it. His fastball arm speed. He throws it from the side, but this is the important pitch. It's the sinker that he's got to have sink. Early in the season, the ball wasn't sinking. They thought Garvin Olson detected a bit of a mechanics issue. They think they've got that straightened out.
On the ground sharply.
That's what he'll get. That's what he'll get. When the sinker's working, he'll get those ground balls, and then the changeup becomes very, very effective.
A 6-pitch, 1, 2, 3, top of the 6th. Brought to you by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. It's just nice to see things growing again. Flowers out there in the outfield. See if the Twins can complete the comeback they have started here. And it'll be Robbie Grossman leading things off. He's had a couple of good at-bats. Got the first Twins hit against Aaron Sanchez with a 2-out single in the 2nd. Then he lined out to the right fielder, Teoscar Hernandez. See Robbie do it all that often. He went after the first pitch and fouled it back. 1 strike.
Well, the thing that I like about Robbie is that he'll swing at the first pitch and throw it right down the middle. He's ready for that. You know, he's ready for that, but he's not going to swing at it anywhere else. Guys make the mistake of making outs or getting themselves behind in the count by swinging early at pitches that are too tough to hit.
You talk about keyholing a pitch on 3-0, and you're saying not a bad idea to do that on the first pitch.
Do it on the first ball pitch, because guys don't have that great of control. I mean, it's different if a guy is, you know, throwing 98 on strike zone all the time, but guys don't do that.
Now 3-1 to Grossman.
Look for a fastball down the middle, like it's 3-1 on the first pitch. If it's not there, take it, because you don't want to make an out on the first pitch on a tough pitch anyway, and then take the at bat from there. You can get a lot of extra base hits on first ball fastball, lots.
And that's down the left field line for a hit. And that ball will get almost to the corner. Grossman will advance on a stand-up double to start the sixth.
Another great at bat by Robbie Grossman. He was ready on the first pitch, fouled it back, took the next 3 to get himself back in a hitter's count, 3-1. Then got a fastball that he could handle, more up and out over the plate. Put a very solid level swing on it, line it down the left field line for a double. And he knows that Curtis Granderson doesn't have a great arm in left field. He knows he's going for 2 all the way.
Morrison was hit by a pitch in the second, drove in a run with a ground ball in the fourth, drove in the first Twins run. Then Escobar hit a two-run home run, and now Twins hoping to get at least one more back here in the sixth after the leadoff double. 1 strike.
Big hit to start the inning by Robbie Grossman. I think this is an important inning. Get a run or 2 at least. What they'd really like to do, the mantra in the dugout probably in this inning is let's get in the bullpen. Let's get this guy, this starting pitcher, out of here this inning. Get a parade of relievers in there and put the pressure on the bullpen.
1 strike to Morrison. Tap to the right side. Grossman gains 90 feet, but now 1 away. Morrison having a tough time in his career with Sanchez. He's now 1 for 15 against the Toronto starter. Mitch Garver up. Join Fox Sports North at the next viewing party coming up Thursday, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at Village Sports Bar at the stadium in White Bear Lake. Watch the Twins take on Chicago. You can enjoy drink specials, register for tickets and prizes and more. Visit foxsportsnorth.com/events for details. You and I will be in Chicago to start off that road trip against the White Sox. Got a brief look at the White Sox here a couple weeks ago. We got 1 game in out of 4. We hope we have better luck weather-wise in Chicago. Got an issue with Russell Martin's glove, I believe. He's doing a little on-field repair. Hey, we hope you enjoyed having Justin Morneau up here, and Justin and Roy were able to talk a little hitting, and we're going to try to do that again tomorrow. And
that was fun having him sit here talking about.
And we'll of course have Justin in the post game.
Yep.
I think I convinced him to keep score in pencil, so we'll see how he does that, whether he brings a pencil instead of a turquoise pen. I think he said something about he got it out of the kid's drawer or something like that. And I know all about that. I've gone back to using real wood pencils here only because we had a whole drawer full of them left when the kids left school. And I might pull out the Scooby-Doo pencil when I'm done with this one here. We've got to use them up, you know. And you keep score in ink, but you don't keep your score sheets. Game to game.
Correct.
Right. Okay. 1-1. Camp left side. Scampering home is Grossman, and a great play at short by Diaz. A good scoop by Smoke. Twins get a run, but that's a great play by the Toronto shortstop.
You won't see an awful lot better than that. That's a terrific play to take a hit away from Mitch Garver. He had to go a long way. His body momentum taking him well into left field. Right here, you're thinking that's a base hit in the hole. He backhands it, and in one motion turns and throws it close enough to Smoke. Smoke makes a nice pick. The pick looks nice. It's one of the easier hops you're going to get. You expect a good first baseman to make that play. Terrific play by the shortstop.
Base is empty, 2 down, and now Adrianza takes ball 1.
But you know, it's not the at bat that Logan Morrison wanted, and Mitch Garver really wanted to get driving that run with a base hit. But that's a big run. Get within 2. You're still alive here. You're very much in striking distance with a lot of game left.
We've seen managers do it. We've seen Paul Molitor do it before that Ron Garden hire. When you look at the numbers, and Morrison coming into game today just 1 for 13 with 4 strikeouts against a starting pitcher, he might not play. But because Miguel Sano's not 100%. He's not an option, and so the pickings are pretty slim, and I think that's what.
Paul didn't have any choice.
Right, and I think that's what Paul was saying. At some point we're going to have to decide on Sano whether we're going to put him on the disabled list, because I'm basically right now left here with 2 bench moves.
Right.
Adrianza takes a strike. It's 3-1. Adrianza with a couple of ground balls. And wouldn't you know it, Hildenberger delivered that first 0 in the 6th. Twins got a leadoff double, turned it into a run, and now the tying run will come to the plate, and Brian Dozier. Pete Walker, the pitching coach. Danny Barnes warmed up. Dozier's hit the ball twice to the second baseman Gurriel on the third base side of second base, and he struck out on a high fastball in the 5th. Tomorrow is Minnesota Lynx night at Target Field. A limited number of Lynx theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Twins Lynx co-branded cap. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Lynx or call 800-33-TWINS. Be a good time for Brian Dozier to break his home run slump. His last home run coming 4 weeks ago tomorrow. Inside, ball 1.
Sanchez losing his command a little bit. See him walk Adrianza there on 5 pitches. That target from the catcher was on the outside corner. He went way in with it. Manager starts seeing that, and he knows it's getting toward the end for his pitcher.
And a strike to Dozier.
See the pitches by inning. When 17 is the most that you throw in any given inning, you're being pretty efficient. He's got good stuff. There's no question about it. He's a very, very nice pitcher.
And now 1-2.
And Justin Morneau was talking about the confidence that Russell Martin, the catcher, has in, and that Sanchez himself has in the changeup that Sanchez has developed. He knows he can throw it for a strike just about any time, and it's a very deceiving pitch to the hitter.
Very high with a fastball. First Twins in Twins history, they've had some pitchers with great changeups. Frank Viola, Johan Santana, Brad Radke. And I guess that's what made the pitch so effective, the confidence they had in the pitch to throw it where they want in any count.
Absolutely.
Adrianza goes, a pitch in the dirt, and Adrianza will get a stolen base. Martin realized the only chance he had to throw the runner out was to make a backhanded pick and somehow come up with a throw, but it's a stolen base.
Pretty good play there by Martin, actually, just to knock that ball down. That was a difficult hop to field.
Full count now to Brian Dozier. Struck him out. The Twins get one and leave one in scoring position, and we head to the 7th inning, 6-4 Toronto. runs of the year were scored as a result of this play. Mitch Garver picked the ball up in foul territory, but home plate umpire Adam Hamry said it was a fair ball. The Blue Jays got a couple of runs early in the second inning. Justin Smoke hit a 2-run home run, part of a 3-run fourth. And the Twins have come back. Make a swing so far for the Twins. Eduardo Escobar's 2-run home run added another run in the sixth, and now we're at 6-4. Aaron Sanchez giving up 4 runs over 6 innings. He can win the ball game, can't lose it. Hildenberger out there for the Twins, and he misses outside to the first man he faces in the 7th, Yangervis Solarte. 6 pitches to get 3 outs in the 6th inning for Hildenberger. That's to center. Kepler makes the catch. One down in the 7th. And that'll bring up Kevin Pillar.
I was talking about what Hildenberger needs to do to be successful, or when he is successful, why that is. It starts with a changeup. He's got a sidearm, almost submarine style changeup. You just don't see that. No hitter in today's game sees a severe sidearm changeup that's 78 to 80 miles an hour. So he starts with a really unusual pitch. And then if he's got that sinker going, the two of them in concert are very, very effective. But he has to, as good as the changeup is, he has to have, just like any other pitcher, he has to have the fastball working. And in his case, the fastball is a sinker that's 89 miles an hour. It just doesn't throw it that hard, maybe 90, but it's got to sink. Early in the year, it wasn't sinking, and he was getting hurt before he could ever get to the changeup.
I made a comp last year, and I think you might have faced this guy. He was with the Brewers for a while, principally I think with the Indians. Doug Jones.
Yep, very similar.
And Jones was a really effective closer for a lot of years, and his best pitch was a kind of a sidearm changeup.
Yep, that's absolutely true. He was a good closer and did not have classic closer stuff.
Right.
That's for sure. He had his best pitch was that changeup.
Russell Martin, the batter, homered last time on a 3-0 pitch, and now Hildenberger evens the count 1-1. You like the way Hildenberger's come in, thrown strikes. That was an issue in the first 5 innings, and as a result, it's not a coincidence. He's gotten 5 quick outs. And a strike called. He's thrown a dozen pitches, and 10 of them have been strikes. Excuse me, swing and a roller foul.
Those last 2 pitches were sidearm slurve kind of breaking balls, and so it shows that he can mix that in as well. A 3rd pitch. He's throwing a lot of strikes, as you mentioned, Dick, and that was also a bit of an issue early in the season.
For Hildenberger.
For Hildenberger,
yeah.
Yep.
Change up, and Hart did all he could to make contact.
Perfect example there of how hard that changeup is to pick up. Sidearm delivery, good arm speed, fastball arm speed, and it just flops up there. Just not used to seeing that.
1-2. A breaking ball. I think it was the Orioles back in the day when Ray Miller was their great pitching coach, and they had they emphasized the changeup, and their nickname for it I thought was appropriate, the dead fish, because it just kind of comes to the plate and there's no life to it, and it just, looks like it's hardly even going to get to home plate in the air. 1-2. Fastball just missed, and he raised his arm angle a little bit there and tried to surprise Russell Martin, and he did, but he just didn't throw it over the plate. 2-2. And then a changeup.
77.
You'll see a hitter go down to a knee from time to time. Martin went down on both knees.
It's a great pitch.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. Red Sox had to play for a while without Xander Bogaerts. He's back, and in a big way. My goodness, get that out of the ballpark. And the Red Sox at home came from behind to take a big lead now on Kansas City. Mike Moustakas had to leave that ball game after getting hit in the arm by a pitch. You know, we talk about the Twins trying to have productive at-bats and get the offense going in the absence of Byron Buxton and Miguel Sano. What is lost perhaps is the fact that they are certainly the two most dynamic right-handed batters that the Twins have, and they're both gone right now. And so the first move for John Gibbons is to bring his lone lefty Aaron Loop into the game, who's going to have to find a different glove apparently. You know, I don't know, but I know there was a reminder about the color of gloves, and I don't know whether Loop is, see if he comes back with a different color glove. Major League Baseball has tried to crack down on lighter colored gloves, and I'm wondering whether Adam Hammery, the home plate umpire, or one of the umpires, an all brown glove. Aaron Loop has had to change gloves because of the color of the glove he had on the mound. And there was a memo sent out to the teams a couple weeks ago about attire and basically making a baseball uniform. And first time I've ever seen a player have to leave the game because of the color of his glove, but I believe that's what's happened here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. And as a hitter, you don't want to see a light colored glove. The guy, flings his glove first, but on his way before the white ball comes out there, and you're looking at all kinds of distraction.
Now, what I don't know,
I wouldn't like it.
I don't know whether the Twins challenged the glove or whether the umpires themselves did.
But back to your point about bringing the left-hander in, I mean, so you just look at the lineup and you knew that was likely to happen. We have left-handed Mauer, left-handed Rosario. Escobar goes to the right side, which is not as good a side, and then for him as a switch hitter, and then Kepler. So you have all the best of it starting with a left-hander this inning, and you know that Buxton and Sano are nowhere to be seen in terms of a pinch hitting role, most likely. Justin Morneau was telling us, and he's absolutely right. It's nice to think that Sano might be available to pinch hit, but basically with these left-handers coming up, John Gibbons, the manager of Toronto, just saying, I'm bringing the left-hander in and force Paul Molitor to make a change if he's got one to make, and he may not.
Loop and the Blue Jays got this call, and it was well below the strike zone. 1-2 to Mauer, and he punches it into left field, and the leadoff man is on. Because the prior pitch was called a strike, Joe swung at a pitch he might normally not swing at, and he ends up being rewarded with a base hit.
Well, he was forced to swing at this pitch, you look at where they're trying to pitch. They throw from the side and try to hit everything low and away. And Joe just serves that little breaking ball out into left field.
And so Mauer's aboard, and here is Rosario. Side, ball one. Martin says put it right there again. We'll get the call next time.
Yeah, it was a better pitch than the one they called on Joe.
Rosario lined out twice to left and then drew a walk in front of Escobar's home run in the 5th. And a fastball for a strike.
And this is what I was talking about last inning. When you get that 1 run, get it to a 2-run game and get into the bullpen, put the heat on the bullpen, make them hold a lead where one swing with a guy on base can tie the game.
Hacked foul into the screen above the dugout, 1-2.
It also said Trevor Hildenberger's job. Hold him right there. Hold him right there at that 6-run number. Let us shoot at that. And he's done exactly that. 2 terrific innings by Hildenberger.
It'll pop up on a breaking ball. And Martin makes the catch 1 away. We'll bring up Escobar. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1. And that's going to be it for Aaron Loup, because the Twins have a switch hitter, Eduardo Escobar. Just one other note, Loup is their only left-hander. And I do believe that the way the Twins are handcuffed a little bit in their lineup with Buxton and Sano out, that's one of the reasons Mitch Garver got the start behind the plate, to have a little more right-handed presence in the lineup. His only left-hander out, brought in a right-hander to face Eduardo Escobar, and then behind him a lefty, a switch hitter, and another lefty.
Yeah, I'm surprised at this move. Bringing in Danny Barnes, I'm not surprised they want him in the game. He's been very, very effective. But he's got basically a left-handed lineup coming up here for the next 3 or 4 hitters. Especially with Escobar and Kepler, who can hit the ball in the ballpark. I mean, they represent the tie-in runs here. So I'm a little surprised by this, but Gibbons likes his guy here.
And now 0-2 to Escobar, and maybe tip of the cap to Kepler and what he's done against lefties this year. You know, a year ago he struggled so mightily against him. He would probably be the one left-handed batter for sure that would face a left-handed reliever.
Yeah, I still think after last year, if you're the opposing manager, you make him prove it to me.
Outside, and it's 1-2.
He may be better against left-handers, but he's very good against right-handers. And I still think until until he gets through half a season hitting left-handers really well, I still think he's going to see left-handed relievers against him, or I would think he would.
Reed and Presley warmed up. Escobar waits and he pops one. Martin back, and he's got room for this one too. Not a whole lot of foul territory here at Target Field, and I'm guessing we just witnessed a little history here. Back-to-back foul outs to a catcher in this ballpark. 2 down.
Both of them on changeups. This is another fastball changeup style pitcher. Barnes at 92, 93-ish on the fastball, and then a very good changeup. And that's what popped up the last 2 hitters.
Now Kepler has hit the ball hard twice tonight. Has a triple and a line out. Outside, ball 1. And again outside.
So you see Barnes not too bad against left-handed hitters.
Strike call, 2-1.
Still trying to figure out why John Gibbons wanted the right-hander against Escobar and Kepler. Thought maybe he was dynamite against left-handed hitters, but just okay.
3-1 with Grossman on deck. If there's anybody over the years who's proven to be left-handed proof, it's Joe Mauer, and he was the first guy that Luke faced, and he got the base hit.
Yep. Here's tough for a hitter right here because it really want to get a fastball, and the chances are a pretty good chance of getting a changeup. Boy, he did get the fastball and didn't get it. That's, again, we talked about it before, but when you get to a count like that, 3-1, where you're really looking for a fastball and you get one down in the zone right in your wheelhouse and you don't hit it, that makes it really, really tough. He's going to have to battle here with 3-2. Could get fastball or change.
Mauer goes, and a pitch popped up near the Blue Jays dugout and nearly caught by Solarte. In fact, had he gotten there a split second earlier, we would have had the inning end with 3 foul outs. That I can guarantee has never happened in this ballpark.
Oh, man. Breathing again.
So another 3-2 coming to Kepler. Waited, a drive into the right field corner, high off the wall. Mauer was off with the pitch. He will score. Barely, but he will score. And Kepler delivers a huge double, and the Twins are within 1. That looked to be an awfully good reaction to an off-speed pitch.
It was a great reaction. Got a changeup, 3-2, and stayed down through it and just drilled it off the right field wall. It's a home run at Yankee Stadium, I guarantee you that.
How about this throw?
Terrific throw. That young man can play out there at right field. Got a lot of tools.
Grossman's had 3 good at bats. He's been rewarded with 2 hits. Hit to the outfield might tie the game. Outside, ball 1.
It was so impressive, and you called it, Dick. It was so, the at bat by Kepler was so impressive because he knows that Barnes is a fastball changeup kind of pitcher. He could get either one. He waited long enough to foul off the fastball, and that left. And waiting on the ball allowed him to hit the 3-2 changeup. A really great 2-strike at bat. The whole at bat was terrific, and then with the 2 strikes to stay on that changeup was really good.
Grossman's found himself in some hitters' counts, and that's one of the reasons he's had 3 really good at bats. He's stung the ball 3 times, and now it's 2-0.
Yeah, you're not going to get Robbie Grossman to chase up there.
Morrison on deck. Grossman's swinging it good. He might be green lighted here on 3-0. He's got the type of discipline you'd trust a hitter to give him the green light on something that he liked, right?
Absolutely. And it just depends on whether Paul wants. The one thing he's thinking about is even if it is a strike, he's still going to have the same discipline 3-1. Right. So.
And he takes a strike. 3-1.
It's really no difference, Robbie. 3-0 and 3-1. He's going to have the same discipline here on this pitch.
Ball 4, and Morrison will have a chance to get the biggest hit of his young Twins career. Pete Walker to the mound again.
We watch the pitch sequence here. He's trying to go away. His fastball moves that way a little bit. Trying to stay outside, got to 3-1, just couldn't hit the outside corner.
And replay brought to you by Carrier. Morrison has driven in a run. He's hit 2 ground balls to the second baseman. Have gotten some big 2-out hits already here tonight. Kepler's double a few moments ago came with 2 outs, and now Morrison with 2 on and 2 out. Hook foul. 1 strike.
Well, you hate to do that as a hitter. You're looking for a fastball that you can handle. You get it. You get the big end of the bat to it, especially when you haven't been swinging it well. And then just a little too far out in front. Just a little too anxious. Hit it well, but just way foul.
Foul back. And it's 0-2. Tyler Clippard might be the next guy pitching for the Blue Jays. John Gibbons hoping Barnes can preserve what is now a 1-run lead. Oh, and 2 to Morrison. Little pop-up near third, and Solarte makes the 3rd foul ball catch of the inning. But the Twins got a leadoff single and a 2-out double, and they're within 1.
Tonight, the Twins continue the homestand as they look for a win in Game 2 of the 3-game series with the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. We hope you join us for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink at 6:30, right here on Fox Sports North.
Well, the Twins trying to go into that game with a win here tonight, a come from behind win after falling behind 5-0. Had a ball game here on Friday night where they had 3 4-run leads and lost. This would be a payback for that game if they can come back and win. Ryan Presley will try to hang up another 0 in the 8th.
Well, as you can see by the stats there, Ryan Presley's been excellent in his relief appearances so far this year. Great stuff. It's just a question of him throwing the ball in the strike zone consistently.
Swing on a tapper foul.
Right now, the Twins are feeling like they can win this ball game if the bullpen continues to hold Toronto at 6 runs. All these pitches are important.
Big swing by Morales, 0-2. There isn't much that's gone right in the pitching department for the Twins this year, but the start that Ryan Presley has had is one of them. He has become a weapon out of the pen. 0-2. Tap toward first. Mauer to Presley, 1 away.
This copyright telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC. Boy, that was such a good pitch there to Morales. Got him 0-2 and then came right up and in under his hands. Tough for any hitter, especially a left-hand hitter.
One down, and now Gurriel.
As I say, if Ryan Presley can throw strikes where he wants to throw strikes, that stuff is plenty good enough.
One and 0. There's a breaking ball over the inside corner.
Here's his bread and butter. This nasty breaking ball. See how big and how late and how much it keeps biting down that break is.
Slider just off the plate, 2-1. Sharp ground ball. Dozier, nice diving play, and it's an infield hit. Ball rolled out of his glove, and Gurriel beats it out for an infield hit.
Well, I'm really impressed with Gurriel. This is the second time he's done this, taking a good fastball that's away from him, gone the other way with it.
All right, sounds good.
And hit it very, very well. Got good athleticism. Speaking of good athleticism, Brian, had he been able to keep that ball in his glove, I think you're right, Dick. I think he gets it out there. It was a terrific play to dive and smother it. Gurriel just runs too well.
Now Ledmus Diaz. Diaz 0 for 3. Breaking ball up. The Blue Jays are, we believe, playing this game with just a 2-man bench. Randall Grichuk was put on the disabled list before the game. There goes the runner. The pitch is inside. The throw to second. And a one-hop throw gets him. They will appeal to see whether there's a strike at the plate. But Garver on one hop threw out Lourdes Gurriel. And the Blue Jays aren't convinced yet.
I would challenge this, or at least take a look at it. It's a nice play by Garver and a really nice tag by Brian.
I think they got him.
Yeah, anytime the tag is high up toward the shoulder, you're thinking that the hand gets on the base, and so that's what they're looking at.
And they are going to take a look at it.
You watch right here. Brian has to catch the one-hop throw. The ball comes up. He has to catch it and then get the tag down.
I don't know how they.
On that angle, I don't think they can overturn it.
I don't either.
I think they're. I don't know what they saw that made them think that he got in there, at least from that angle.
Brian put the tag down, but he didn't hit any body parts until the hand got in the vicinity of the bag.
Right.
But the original call was out.
Yeah. This one right here is where I think this is what we're going to. That's the best look, and you can't tell when hands on the bag and when tag's made. I just don't see how they can overturn it. Maybe
this
here.
one.
Maybe here. Yeah, I still think it's inconclusive.
And he is called out.
Yep.
So Gurriel's been impressive with his speed. But Garver's able to throw him out on a check swing that was ruled a check swing. It's ball 2.
Well, two nice plays made there. First of all, that ball sailed up and in, and Garver was able to corral it and come up throwing.
And a base hit on the very next pitch.
And then Brian Dozier made a very nice play to catch, stay with the one-hop throw that came up a little bit, and then get the tag down quickly. Two nice plays there, which saved him a run so far.
Granderson will bat with a runner at first and 2 down. Granderson struck out twice and has walked twice. Outside, Astros beat the Yankees 2-1, ending the Yankee winning streak, which had grown to 9 games. After the Twins sweep in New York, they went out to Anaheim and swept a good Angels ball club.
They can hit.
And now ball 2.
And again, like most guys with good stuff, ball 2 is the only thing that can really harm Ryan Pressly. It's the constant pounding of the strike zone with the stuff as good as his, much like Jose Barrios, that can make them very, very effective.
From a 2-0 slider or cutter.
Yep.
I guess you'd have to call that a slider, right?
A slider, yep, and a great one. Gutsy pitch 2-0, but a great pitch to get him back in the count.
And now 3-1. Teoscar Hernandez on deck. Six up, 6 down for Trevor Hildenberger. Ryan Pressly's having to work for his 3 outs.
Well, I got to believe there's a pretty good chance he's going to come back with another slider. At least if I'm the hitter, I'm thinking if he's going to throw it to me 2-0, why wouldn't he throw it 3-1? See what they've got called here. Yep, slider.
And a check swing. It's 3-2. Mauer will play behind the runner at first, who will take off upon delivery. Another breaking ball. And Granderson will reach on a walk. First and second, 2 down for Hernandez. Hernandez with a 1-for-4 night. Double in the 3-run 4th inning. Three straight batters have reached against Presley. Blocked by Garver.
He's got to be careful here, falling behind a guy that's arguably as hot as anybody they have on the team right now. Has gotten some very big hits for the Blue Jays. He's got to make good pitches to this guy.
And again in the dirt. Again blocked by Garver.
Boy, that almost looked like a cross up the way Garver caught
I think
that.
Garver caught it on the fly because they kept the ball in play. He just kind of.
You watch the way he catches his ball. He just surprised by the fastball speed.
Smoke on deck. And Presley doesn't want to face him with the bases loaded. "19 pitches thrown by Presley and only 8 strikes.
And the 8 strikes were thrown early.
Yes. Big pop-up.
Oh, man, is that a gift?
Short center field. And Rosario makes the catch. And the Jays strand 2 in the 8th.
By 1, bottom of the 8th inning. Coming up after the final out, we will bring you Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. And tonight we'll look at Eduardo Escobar staying hot. An extra base hit for the 7th consecutive game. Escobar hit the big home run in the 5th inning. Also the job that Trevor Hildenberger did, coming in relief, pitching the 6th inning and the 7th inning, not allowing a hit. Great job there by Hildenberger, and we'll hear from the manager, Paul Molitor, as always, right after the game tonight. Dick and Roy.
Thank you. What's happening to the moon? That's supposed to be like a full moon. It's going.
It is a full moon. We're more than half is behind my building over there. Actually, that's not mine.
Mitch Garver will lead things off against Tyler Clippard. And an off-speed pitch missing, ball 1.
Throws an awful lot of those. Got a lot of different pitches. He'll throw a fastball and a cutter occasionally, split finger, a little changeup. Throws a lot of changeups.
Overall, an effective start to his year, but odd numbers. 13 1/3 innings, only 5 hits, an opponent batting average of 118, but 8 walks, and 3 of the 5 hits have been hit over the fence.
Ouch.
Outside 2-1. Twins have scored in the last 4 innings, trying to come back from a 5-0 deficit. Garver, Adrianza, and Dozier due up here in the 8th. Swing and a miss. Two singles for Garver and an RBI and a ground out. Three and 2. In 3 of the last 4 innings, the Twins have gotten their leadoff man aboard.
It's not an automatic fastball count here. This is tough with this kind of pitcher. This is tough. You can't just be sitting on fastball, even though it's there. It is changeup. Just can't. You can't do it against this kind of guy. He's liable to throw that changeup anytime.
Filling the count, striking out Garver, and now Adrianza.
So he starts off with 2 changeups just to show you that right out of the gate he's going to throw you something slow. There's a changeup for a ball, changeup for a strike. Now he says, "I got you looking at slow stuff. I'll throw it harder." Now he throws fastballs, gets to 2-2, ends up getting him to 3-2, and coming back with a change.
Adrianza runs out of the box and takes a strike. Two ground outs and a walk for the Twin shortstop. And another off-speed pitch taken for a strike.
Flop a changeup in there.
That's what makes what Kepler did in the 7th with 2 outs. I mean, it was the same arsenal of pitches, right? And he just waited back with 2 strikes and was able to spank a double into the right field corner. Adrianza takes a ball, 1-2. One thing to do it early in the count, but when you're up there with 2 strikes, it just seems you're trying to protect against striking out, but to be able to wait back and get the barrel of the bat on the ball. 1-2. Fouled off of Martin.
Pretty good protective swing right there. After seeing all these changeups, you get a fastball in under your hands. You can't jump out in front to get the bat head way out in front, or you'll be susceptible to that changeup. So he had to wait, as you're talking about. He had to wait, make sure he identified the speed of the pitch, and then that ball got in on him. He was in a good spot after those changeups, but he was able to spoil it.
Nearly hit him. 2-2.
Boy, there's a situation where you have to take one for the team
and not get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really hard to do that. So right here, you have to just kind of turn your.
It's a breaking ball.
Yeah, it was a slider, and you just got to kind of turn your back and let it hit you in the rear end. But that's hard to do when you see the ball coming at you.
Talk about defensive swings.
Yep.
Adrianza's body looked like it leaned forward. He kept his hands back and just kind of jabbed at the pitch right before Martin was going to catch strike 3.
Another changeup, and he is already committed, but he was able to just get a piece.
And then he waves at a changeup down and away. 2 down, and that'll bring up Dozier. May 15th, it's Scrubs Night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Twins branded scrub pants. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs. Learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer. Dozier is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. And he takes outside, ball 1. Saw Fernando Rodney warming up before. He's going to pitch the 9th inning, whether the Twins tie it, take the lead or not. 1-1.
You were asking earlier about why Dozier why he's gone so long without hitting a home run. It seems incongruous, really, as proficient as he is. The timing just gets a little off.
Another changeup over the inside corner for a strike.
And then what happens for home run hitters is they hit one, and then all of a sudden the timing is back, and they'll hit. And Brian will hit 6 in a week here at some point in time once he gets that feel again.
And 2-2. Clipper trying to pin down the 8th inning, keep the Blue Jays in front. Roberto Osuna is their closer. Presumably he would get the 9th if the lead is still there to protect. Very high, and in fact to the backstop. 3-2 with Mauer on deck.
And once again, this is not an automatic fastball count. Hitters want to get fastball counts. They want to hit the fastball, so they work real hard to get ahead. 2-0, 3-1, 3-2 used to be a fastball count. It's not anymore.
Driven deep to right, but twisting foul.
And when I say it's not a fastball count, I mean it's not automatic. You're liable to get anything now. 3-2. It's just. Truthfully, you're allowed to get anything 2-0 and 3-1 also, but you're not committed to swing. You don't have to swing at it in those counts.
Another 3-2 to Brian Dozier. High or breaking ball, and Dozier strikes out. He was on his way to first base. He thought he drew a walk, but the first base umpire, Adrian Johnson, said he did not check his swing.
High fastball, he starts after it. That's hard not to call.
Presley struggled a little bit in the 8th. He's asked to at least start the 9th. Facing Justin Smoke, and he delivers ball 1. Smoke, Solarte, and Pilar batting in the 9th.
Well, I don't know where that pitch was.
Take another look at it here shortly.
Well, Mitch didn't catch the ball really well, but that shouldn't influence that. I mean, that ball is as much a strike as you ought to be able to get.
Instead, it's 2-0. Hit well to left. Rosario back and dropping the ball on the warning track. He got there, and the ball, I'm not sure, ever got the inside of the glove at all. It should be a 2-base error, allowing Smoke to reach second base.
Eddie going back on it. Looks like he has a bead on it all the way. Gets right to his glove and just missed it.
Still 3-4 feet away from the wall. It's got to be an error, doesn't it?
Yes.
An error charged to Rosario, and Presley's going to work through the middle of this Toronto lineup with a big runner at second and a sharp single to center. Smoke coming around third. He's being waved in. Kepler's throw is, may have hit the mound. It would not have been in time anyway. And the Blue Jays immediately pounce after the error. And now they lead by 2.
Low fastball. Not a bad pitch, but Solarte just does a good job with it. Looking fastball all the way. And that's a tough run to give up right there in the 9th inning, obviously.
Carvin Alston to the mound. John Curtis is warming up in the Twins pen. He was just added to the roster today. It was Fernando Rodney getting loose when the Twins were hitting in the 8th, and apparently he was only going to come in if the Twins had taken the lead. They did not. Twins asked Presley to go back out there, and there's John Curtis. Kevin Pilar, the batter. Osuna is warmed up, going through a scouting report down in the bullpen. A first pitch strike. Dozier has the ball come off his hip. Penn tries to barehand it. The ball hit Presley and then went directly towards Bryan. And the ball came up, looked like it hit him on the hip. And what might have been at least one, at least getting the lead runner, and instead no outs recorded.
Slider off the end of the bat. It got close to the hop, got close to Bryan. He just couldn't come up with it.
Second error of the inning. This one charged to Dozier. From our angle, I thought maybe the ball deflected off of Presley's glove, but you could see in replay that was not the case. And now Martin. And strike one. Martin with 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a home run. That's hit to center. Kepler with a diving catch in center field. Max Kepler with a great catch for the first out of the inning.
Not only a great catch, which it was, but he got a great jump on that ball. Off almost immediately with a crack of the bat. Fastball in the middle of the plate. Martin puts a good swing on it. As you can see, a terrific diving catch by Max.
One down, and now Kendrys Morales.
What we didn't see there that you could see from up here is the jump that he got on the ball. It enabled him to even get close enough to dive. That's a cross-up. Now watching the top of your screen, I mean he was able to close on that ball because of how quickly he went right to where it was going to be. Great jump.
I hope Twins understand this isn't blasphemous. Kepler's done a nice job out there softening the loss of Buxton, but the biggest casualty, if you will, defensively for the Twins is in right field. Robbie Grossman's improved defensively, but he's not Max Kepler in right field.
You can see the direct route he went to that ball. Catch probability 48% in the new baseball metrics means that was pretty good.
Garver burnt a mound visit because it appeared he was crossed up on the prior pitch. And now Presley misses outside 2-0. Second time that Morales has faced Presley. He grounded out to Mauer leading off the 8th. He gets another breaking ball and a swing and a miss, 2-1. Late on the fastball. Oh, we saw Paul Molitor do it earlier tonight, asking a reliever to pitch 2 innings. Now he's asking his second reliever to cover 2 innings. Got him. Locked him up with a slower breaking ball, 2 down. And Presley won't have the chance to do that. It looks like Paul Molitor with 33 pitches thrown and 10 batters faced.
Slider right here gets Morales. Looks like it was inside. Set him up really well with a fastball in the outside corner, then came hard in. Ball's inside, but got the call.
John Curtis will make his 2018 debut when we come back. in the ninth, and now John Curtis will come in to keep the margin 2. Curtis called up last year, had a nice debut in the big leagues, didn't have a particularly good spring training, but had a really good start to his season at AAA, and things being what they are, getting a chance now up here.
He's
Hard thrower with a really good breaking ball.
He's got a great arm and great stuff, and the Twins really do expect him to be a very, very good reliever for them.
Missing inside, ball 1. The damage done in terms of his ERA, 2 home run balls that were hit. All the other numbers were pretty good last year. He struck out 10, walked 2 in 8 2/3 innings. There's a strike over the inside corner. .95, and he's got a little bit left above that.
He's got a little more than that. Yep.
And that's why the Twins like the arm. And if he can throw what he's got over the plate, he, like Ryan Presley, can be a weapon.
It's all about consistent strikes.
Ahead of Gurriel, missing, and now it's 2-2. Two and 2 from Curtis to Lourdes Gurriel. Backhanded by Garver. 3-2. Ledmus Diaz on deck. Runners will go, with the Jays already adding an important run here in the ninth.
Let's see if he can make a pitch right here. They got to hold the score no more than 7 here. Make a pitch. Oh, did too. Good pitch.
96 down and away.
On the corner. Yep, that's a good pitch. Gurriel did a good job to spoil it. See where the target is? Right where the ball is at 96.
And it only took 1 at bat, but with that, John Curtis was reminded the difference between AAA hitters and big league hitters.
That's exactly right.
Fly ball, left center field, plenty of hang time, and Rosario makes the catch. But a couple of Twins errors lead to another run for the Jays. It's 7-5. for a playoff spot. They've got a really good closer. This guy is really good. He's young. He's only 23 years old. He got 39 saves last year, 36 the year before. He has 6 saves this year. He already has 101 major league saves at age 23. Mauer will lead things off in the 9th. And then Rosario and Escobar.
Tough duty. Osuna, as you say, is very good, as you might expect. Terrific stuff. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He throws a cutter, a slider. But even as importantly, it sure appears that he has the mental and psychological makeup to be a closer. He just comes right at you.
So far this year, 11 1/3 innings, 11 hits, but nothing hit over the fence. Only 1 walk and 11 strikeouts. Mauer trying to get aboard to give somebody a shot at tying the game with a home run. 95 on the black.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get. I mean, I was going to say there's nothing to wait on, except if you're Joe, you'll take that pitch and get a little deeper into the count. But for everybody else, get ready for that fastball and see what you can do with it.
Just off the plate. One and one. Popped up. And room for Solarte. Another foul pop for the first out of the 9th.
It's a good pitch right there. A cut fastball in under Joe's hands. That ball boring in on the label and fist, you know, the handle of the bat. Hard to get the bat head out. Guys with good cutters, the ball you just can't seem to get the bat head out far enough to hit it. And if you do, you tend to whip it foul just because you have to hit it so far out in front of you with that ball boring in on you like that.
Up the middle and a base hit for Rosario. And the Twins will get that tying run to the plate in Eduardo Escobar. Apart from how they scored the extra run in the top of the 9th, that the Blue Jays scored that extra run changes everything here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Absolutely it does. It's what it said when it happened. It's just such an important run for the Blue Jays, such a devastating run really for the Twins in terms of how it does change everything in the whole personality of this inning now.
Escobar with a 2-run home run to straightaway center field in the 5th. Just missed. And Martin did it again. He pointed back out at the pitcher and said, that's a spot. Yep. That's a good pitch. Throw it here
Just
again.
Keep throwing it there. That is a good pitch.
It's a nice way of thumbing your nose at the umpire without turning around. 1-0 to Escobar. It'll pop up near second base. It might not get there. And a basket catch made by Solarte. Out number 2, and that'll bring up Kepler. Kepler stung the ball 3 times in his last 3 at-bats. A triple, a line out, and an RBI double.
See how they pitched Max here. They're stayed in on Joe Mauer. They got a pop up. They go definitely going in on Eduardo Escobar. Got a jam pop up. It's dangerous, as we saw in New York with Gary Sanchez. You try to come in, you don't get it in far enough, and the ball goes in the seats.
Check swing, called strike.
Staying away.
And Martin, I don't think, stopped the ball. It might have been the home plate umpire that kept that from going to the backstop. See who actually blocked this pitch.
Well, he's looking for the ball away, and the ball goes.
No, he might have gotten it with his glove.
Down and in, and he did a nice job of slowing it down, at least.
1-1 to Kepler. Driven to the right field corner. Kepler is on fire. He'll round first, digging for second, and the tying run's in scoring position. That ball absolutely blistered into the corner.
Absolutely scalded.
And Robbie Grossman will hit with the tying run at second.
Low inside fastball. You can't throw too hard for Max down there. If he's sitting on fastball, he's going to hit that pitch. Beautiful swing.
3 extra base hits for Kepler, and in the most recent time he made it out, he drove one deep to the gap in left center field. And Grossman has had a good night at the plate. He's hit the ball hard 3 times and drawn a walk.
You get ready for the fastball, Robbie. Just get ready for it. Get ready for the speed.
Down and in, ball 1. Popped up. It'll reach the seats 1-1.
There's the cutter again, and that's again, it's the hardest pitch in baseball to hit, in my opinion. If a guy's got a good cutter, it's just very hard to square it up.
Fly ball center field. Pilar calling for it. And the Blue Jays win the opener 7-5. And the Twins come back. Comes up 1 hit short. Well, the Blue Jays had a tough week and a half themselves, but they've beaten the Twins here in the opener. Tom Hanneman 7-5. And again, the same story. The Twins starting pitching didn't give the Twins much of a chance.
Dick, a slow start by the Twins, followed by a furious finish, but a pair of errors in the ninth sealed the deal. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, we'll break it all down here from Paul Molitor and preview Game 2 tomorrow night.